Lipscomb Bison's baseball is on the air. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Doc Allen coming to you live from beautiful Ken Dugan Field at Stephen Lee Marsh Stadium on the campus of Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee, as we get set to bring you college baseball action between Eastern Kentucky University and the homestanding Lipscomb Bisons. Today's Game 2 of a three-game conference series between these two teams. Game 1 last night was an outstanding pitching performance for the Bisons as they prevailed 7-2 in Game 1. The visiting Colonels from Eastern Kentucky, part of the Atlantic Sun Conference, and they enter today's action with a season record of 21 wins and 9 losses, 8 wins and 2 losses in conference play. The Bisons, also from the Atlantic Sun Conference, have a season record of 16 wins and 14 losses, and a 5-win, 5-loss record in conference play. And again, last time out, the Bisons were victorious over the Colonels with a 7-2 win in Friday night action. Let's take a look at today's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Colonels from Eastern Kentucky University, leading off, designated hitter, number 10, Max Williams. Batting second, left fielder, number 3, Kendall Ewell. Batting third, shortstop, number 34, Logan Thomason. Batting fourth, doing the catching, number 16, Will King. Batting fifth, first baseman, number 17, Charles Ludwig. Batting sixth, third baseman, number 13, Connor Davis. Batting seventh, right fielder, number 2, Roderick Chris. Batting eighth, center fielder, number 23, Ron Franklin. And batting ninth, playing second base, number 8, Jalen Jones. Starting on the mound today for the Colonels will be the sophomore right-hander Reese Brown, number 35. He comes in with a season record of 4 wins and 2 losses and an ERA of 3.53. Head coach for the Colonels is Chris Prothro, who's in his second season. He's assisted by Walt Jones, Cody Wofford, Bryant Bowen. Director of Baseball Operations is Bo Gann. And now the starting lineup for the homestanding Lipscomb Bisons. Leading off will be shortstop, number 8, Caleb Ketchup. Batting second, center fielder, number 19, Maddox Houghton. Batting third, designated hitter, number 35, Mason Lundgren. Batting fourth, cleanup, first baseman, number 44, Malik Williams. Batting fifth, left fielder, number 13, Rudy Maxwell. Batting sixth, third baseman, number 30, Trace Wilhoit. Batting seventh, right fielder, number 21, John Shields. Batting eighth, second baseman, number 2, David Coppage. And batting ninth and doing the catching will be number 1, Chaz Bertolani. Getting the start on the mound today for the Bisons, sophomore right-hander Colin Witzke, number 24. He comes in with a season record of 2 wins and 1 loss and an ERA of 3.68. The head coach for the Bisons is Jeff Forehand. He's in his 16th season as head coach. He's assisted by pitching coach Matt Myers, hitting coach Ryan Price, director of baseball operations Brian Ryman, volunteer assistant Will Hawks, director of player development Adam Weiss, director of baseball analytics Ryan Moretti, and assistant director of baseball operations Madeline Hoswell. The Bison's head groundskeeper is Colby Rawls, and the head baseball athletic trainer is Clint Woods. And our umpires for today's game, Luke Weems will be behind the plate, John White at first base, and Randy Hunley over at third base. We'll step aside for a moment as we enjoy our nation's national anthem. J.J. Perry on the saxophone with the rendition of our national anthem, and we get set for baseball action. Our weather right now at Ken Dugan Field is a partly cloudy day with a temperature of 53 degrees. The wind is blowing out of the west-northwest at about 11 miles per hour, so it's blowing towards left field and the left field corner. Earlier today, we had a chance to visit with Lipscomb coach Jeff Forehand to get his thoughts on today's game.
Coach Forehand, Eastern Kentucky came in as a really hot team. They were leading the division. They'd won over 20 games, and they put up 2 quick runs in the first inning last night. Then your starter, Michael Dunkelberger, and your reliever, Matthew Bonner, came back and shut him out the rest of the game. What kind of adjustment did they make that allowed them to shut down that powerful EKU offense?
Gosh, that's hard to say. I know they do have a really good offense, but what Michael and Matt did last night after the first inning, they settled in, and Michael was, came back, and he had his pitches working more than just one pitch in the second inning. And it was just remarkable to see them come back and put our team in a good position. And looked like he was just kind of fed off of the success, and actually wanted to go back in the 8th, but got to 100 pitches, and we got a short week next week, so you got it in a spot where Matt could take it over and just took us to the end.
One of the guys that's really improved his offense here of late is Caleb Ketchup. It looked like he started off to a little bit of a slow start this season, but in the Georgia series, saw him really start to get some good swings, hit a lot of balls hard. They weren't necessarily falling, but a lot of competitive at-bats. And since then, it seems like he's really been swinging a hot bat, and he's worked his way up to the leadoff spot. What has he adjusted, and what kind of punch does he bring out of that leadoff spot?
Just obviously getting the speed up at the top of the order. We had him at the bottom of the order, where the speed could turn around, but the speed just changes some things. And then, like you said, he's had some more competitive at bats, hitting some balls harder. We just kind of see him, kind of evolving into that. So, when John went down, we didn't really have a guy that we really wanted at the top. So, or we could get a guy that could really fit there. We tried Kopp there a couple times, but I think that's might be a good resting place for him if he continues to do the same things.
Good luck today, Coach.
Hey, thanks a lot.
That's Lipscomb head coach Jeff Forehand previewing today's game. And again, on the mound for the Bisons is the sophomore right-hander Colin Witzke. Witzke, a 6'3", 210-pounder out of Aurora, Illinois, previously played at Kalamazoo Valley Community College. He comes in today with his 10th appearance. He started 2 games already this season. Worked a total of 14 2/3 innings, given up 7 hits, 6 runs, all 6 earned. Struck out 15 and walked 8. Opponents hitting just 143 against him. And again, a record of 2 wins and 1 loss, an ERA of 3.68. His last outing was on April the 2nd at Bellarmine, where he went 4 innings, giving up only 1 hit, no runs, walking 1 and striking out 3. So Witzke gets set to face Eastern Kentucky. Game 2 of this 3-game series between Lipscomb and Eastern Kentucky. And Max Williams, the designated hitter, will get things started off for the Colonels. And he looks at a breaking ball in the outside corner for strike 1. Williams comes in batting .274 on the season, 1 homer and 14 RBIs. He was 2 for 4 in yesterday's game and scored a run. The 0-1 from Witzke. Swung on and hit for a base hit into center field. That's going to get down in front of Houghton, so a leadoff single off the bat of Max Williams, and the Colonels have their leadoff man aboard. As we mentioned in that pregame interview, the Colonels put up 2 runs in the first inning of yesterday's game and then were shut out the rest of the way by the Bison's pitching staff. They ended up totaling 6 hits on the day, but were unable to push across any additional runs. So that brings up Kendall Ewell, the left fielder, and he's the leading hitter on the Colonels. He's batting .398 on the season, 5 homers and 29 RBIs. That 5 homers ties for the team lead, and RBI total is second on the team. So Williams running at first with nobody out. Starts him off with a pitch that misses inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Ewell also with 2 hits in last night's game, one of which was a double. And he is a very talented and dangerous hitter for the Eastern Kentucky Colonels. 1 ball, no strikes, your count. Witzke throws a breaking pitch, hit in the air to left field. It's going right at Rudy Maxwell, who's camped out under it, and will record the first out of the inning. So Ewell hit it well, but right to Maxwell in left field. Let's set the defense for you for the Bisons. Maxwell's in left, Houghton in center, Shields in right, Will Hoyt at third, Ketchup at shortstop, Coppage at second, Malik Williams at first base, and behind the plate today, Chaz Bertolani. Bisons have typically used Bertolani in Friday and Sunday situations, but he's catching back-to-back games here today. And Colin Witzke on the mound, and he'll face Logan Thomason, the shortstop. Comes in batting .299, 3 homers and 22 RBIs on the season. Runner fakes to go, and that one misses just off the plate outside, ball 1. Max Williams only 2 for 2 on the season in stolen base attempts. So one thing to keep an eye on, the Colonels do not run a lot as a team. They come in just 27 for 35 on the season in stolen bases. Close play over to first. They're going to say he got back. Williams was a little bit casual getting back there and almost got himself picked off. So it's 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. We're playing here in the top of the first inning. If you're in the Nashville area, come on out to the ballpark. We got a sunny day. It's a lot warmer than it was last night. Last night, game time temperature was in the low 40s with a strong wind. It was a very chilly night, but lots of sunshine today. That swung on and hit deep in the air to left field. That's not going to get caught. That's going to be a home run. Way out of here. 2-run homer off the bat of Logan Thomason. It's like a pitch in the middle of the plate that Thomason turned on, and he'll hit his 4th home run on the season. And just as they did yesterday, the Colonels have 2 runs across here in the top half of the first inning with 2 hits already in the inning. So Thomason hits it out of here, and Williams scores in front of him. And so with 1 out and the base is empty, the catcher Will King will bat. King is hitting .284 on the season. He's got 5 homers and 31 RBIs. Tied for the team lead in homers and leads the team with that 31 RBI mark. And King last night was 1 for 4 and did have an RBI. And that's a breaking ball that's going to stay high. 1 ball and no strikes. So as we mentioned, the Colonels put up 2 runs in the first inning. Were held scoreless the rest of the way. The Bisons put up 2 in the second, 2 in the fourth, and added 3 in the bottom of the 8th for insurance and held on for a 7-2 win. That's hammered down the left field line, but foul. Breaking ball that hung up there, and he jumped on it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lipscomb had 7 hits in last night's game, and Eastern Kentucky had 6. And both teams stranded 5 runners on base. But outstanding pitching from the Bisons last night. Michael Dunkelberger going 7 innings, giving up 6 hits and just those 2 runs in the first inning. That one misses inside, ball 2. He walked 1 and struck out 8, and then Matthew Bonnert came on and pitched the last 2 innings. Didn't allow a hit or a run and struck out 3. So on the night, Bison's pitching staff, 11 strikeouts and 1 walk. And that obviously is going to please pitching coach Matt Myers, as this one is hammered down the left field line and foul again. That was another slider that hung up. So 2 balls and 2 strikes on Will King. Charles Ludwig waits on deck for the Colonels. We're playing in the top of the first inning. Eastern Kentucky's jumped out to a 2-0 lead on the home run off the bat of Logan Thomason. And it's a 2 ball, 2 strike count with 1 out to Will King. Nobody aboard. And Witzke's going to miss high with that one, and that'll make the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. King on the watch list for the Buster Posey National Collegiate Catcher of the Year Award this year, honoring the top NCAA Division I catcher. He's one of 3 ASUN players who's on that list. That one's hit foul and out of play, and the count will remain full. So he's a young man who's comes in with high expectations for this season, and again has done a nice job. He did a nice job behind the plate last night, swinging it well, as we mentioned, with the team lead in RBIs and tied for the lead in home runs. We're waiting a payoff pitch as Witzke gets set to come again to Will King. Swung on and again hit foul, the breaking ball that he jumped on, and the count will remain 3 balls and 2 strikes. We saw this Eastern Kentucky team be aggressive early in the count last night. They came out swinging as a team coming into the series batting .270 and had some good swings last night's game. So we await another payoff pitch from Witzke, who's working from the stretch, even though the bases are empty here in the top of the first inning. And that's going to be fouled back and out of play. And once again, the count will remain 3-2. So good battle going on here between Witzke and King in the top half of the first inning. Another 3-2, and that's going to be strike 3. It looked like it was right down the plate. I think King must have thought it was low, but instead he's going to be out on strikes for the second out of the inning. So first strikeout for Witzke, and with 2 outs and the bases empty, that'll bring up Charles Ludwig, the first baseman. Ludwig batting .235, but tied for the team lead in homers, 5 of home runs on the season, 17 RBIs. He was 0 for 3 in last night's game. And one of two left-handed hitters that'll be in the lineup today. He's actually a switch hitter, but he and the leadoff hitter, Williams, the only lefties in the lineup against the right-hander, Colin Witzke. So a heavy right-handed hitting lineup here today for Coach Prothro and the Colonels. That one's going to miss inside for ball one. Shift on for the Bisons, as you can probably see. Second baseman Coppage pulled way over in the hole between first and second. Shortstop Caleb Ketchup is on the first base side of second base, and that leaves only one defender on the third base side, and that's a changeup that's going to be in there for a strike, a ball and a strike. Bison's one of those teams that do employ a lot of defensive shifts, and we saw that in last night's game. And seeing it again here early today. 1-1 strike pitch due. And he swings through the fastball, 1-2. Outfield position straight away, despite this infield shift. And they're playing fairly deep. As we mentioned, the wind is blowing out. At the moment, it's calmed down a little bit, but it's blowing out towards left field. And we've already seen one ball get out of here in today's game. There was a home run last night from Rudy Maxwell as well, despite the cold conditions. Here comes the 1-2 from Witzke. Swings and hits it in the air towards center field. Maddox Houghton's going to go to his right a couple of steps, and he's got a beat on it. And he'll glove it for the third out of the inning. But the Colonels, as they did last night, jump out on top. They post 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and no one left on base. And as we head to the bottom half of the first inning, your score, Eastern Kentucky 2 and Lipscomb nothing. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the home half of the first inning, and on the mound for the Colonels is sophomore right-hander Reese Brown. Brown's a 6'1", 210-pounder out of Orlando, Florida, transfer from Seminole State College of Florida. And he comes in on the season making his 8th start. He's started all the previous 7 appearances, worked 35 2/3 innings, given up 25 hits, 15 runs, 14 earned. He has 48 strikeouts against only 16 walks, and opponents batting just 198 against him. So 4 wins, 2 losses, and a 3.53 ERA on the season. And he delivers to Caleb Ketchup, who hits the first pitch down the left field line, but foul. And that'll make the count 0-1 on Ketchup. Last outing for Reese Brown was on April the 2nd at Jacksonville State. He worked 8 innings, gave up 5 hits, only 1 run was earned, walked 2 and struck out 6, and that one's going to be in there for strike 2. So it'll be no balls and 2 strikes on Ketchup. And in his start prior to that, Brown went 7 innings, so he's a young man who's gone deep in ball games, and that's going to be strike 3. Beautiful slider on the outside part. He froze Ketchup there. 3 pitches and 1 out for Reese Brown. Bison sending up Ketchup, Houghton, and Lundgren to face Brown. Maddox Houghton is batting .265 on the season with 3 homers and 15 RBIs. He was 0 for 2 in last night's game, did score a run and had a couple of walks, so he's on base a couple of times. And he'll bat with 1 out and the bases empty here in the bottom half of the first. Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb 2-0. First pitch is a fastball missing off the plate outside, ball 1. And he swings through the slider there, and it'll count will even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Defensively for the Colonels, Ewell is in left, Franklin in center, Chris in right, Davis at third, Thomason at short, Jones at second, Ludwig at first, King behind the plate, and Reese Brown on the mound, and that one's going to miss high, and the count will be 2 balls and 1 strike to Maddox Houghton. senior center fielder for the Bisons. Brown working quickly, and that one's going to miss off the plate as well. 3 balls and 1 strike. Pitching staff last night issued 5 walks for Eastern Kentucky. They got 4 innings out of starter Michael Schuler, and then 3 1/3 out of Isaac Milburn, and Vladimir Seravino finished. That one's in there for a strike, and the count will go full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So full count on Maddox Houghton. Mason Lundgren waiting on deck. And he swings and hits this foul, and it's going to make the seats behind home plate. That was a slider on the outside corner. He had to just reach out and spoil it to stay alive. So far, Brown has shown us a good fastball that he's worked to both sides of the plate, and he's shown that slider that he froze ketchup on there. So 3 balls, 2 strikes on Maddox Houghton. Infield at fairly normal positioning other than the first baseman Ludwig pulled off the line. He swings and hits this one deep towards left field, and that's going to is that caught? I believe it is caught. Fine running catch there by Ewell. Ewell was going over to his right. He went down to his knees. I thought the ball might get down in front of him, but instead he makes a fine catch for the second out of the inning. So Kendall Ewell showing you why he is a top prospect. He is actually rated as the #1 draft prospect by D1 Baseball in the entire Atlantic Sun Conference for the 2022 draft, and he showed you part of the reason there, a fine defensive play. Mason Lundgren looks at a fastball down and in for strike 1. Mason comes in batting .274 on the season, no homers and 17 RBIs. He was 0 for 2 in last night's game with a walk. He hits a slider in the air towards left field, and Ewell misjudged it at first, but now is going to recover and come in and grab it for the 3rd out of the inning. So nothing doing for the Bisons in the bottom half of the 1st. We've played 1 inning, and your score, Eastern Kentucky 2 and Lipscomb nothing. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the top of the 2nd inning. Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb 2-0. Colin Witzke back out on the mound. He'll be facing 6, 7, and 8 for the Colonels. Connor Davis, Roderick Chris, and Ron Franklin. The Colonels, again, got on the board in the 1st inning with a 2-run home run off the bat of Logan Thomason. And they lead 2-0 here as we start the 2nd. Connor Davis is the 3rd baseman. He comes in batting .270 on the season, 3 homers and 14 RBIs. He was 1 for 4 in last night's game. And he looks at a pitch downstairs for ball 1. So the Bisons in their cream-colored home uniforms today with purple numerals, purple trim, the purple caps with the gold L on the front. Eastern Kentucky in black jerseys, white pants with the black trim. Here comes the 1-0, and that's going to be in there for a strike. An off-speed pitch, 1 ball and 1 strike. Same 2 teams tomorrow, 1 p.m. start for Game 3 of this series. It's Sunday Fun Day at the ballpark, which means kids get to run the bases after the game. So if you're in the area, come on out. We're expecting a really nice day with a temperature in the mid-70s tomorrow. Love to see you at the ballpark. That's hammered down the left field line, but foul. It was a breaking ball that hung up, and Davis turned on it. And the count will be a ball and 2 strikes on Connor Davis. Eastern Kentucky, as we mentioned, was a red-hot team. They had won 8 straight coming into last night's game and were 18-3 in their last 21 games. And one of those 3 losses had been a loss at top-ranked Tennessee, who they played back on March 15th. They lost 7-1 in Knoxville, and that's going to hit him, I believe. I believe I caught him in the helmet. Hopefully not in the face, but definitely a hit by pitch. So Davis is going to take a knee, and he'll be checked on by the coaching staff and the training staff. A 1-2 pitch that Whiskey tried to get inside, but it came in and hit him. And couldn't tell if that caught him in the helmet. Hope it hit the helmet. If he had to choose between that and the face, we'd certainly choose that. But he's going to be looked at by the training staff, and they'll take their time looking at Connor Davis. We certainly hope that Connor Davis is okay. He is a sophomore out of Boonville, Mississippi. Previously played at Northeast Mississippi Community College. So while they're looking at Davis, we'll update you that next door at the Draper Diamond, the Lady Bison softball team's hosting North Alabama. They're playing in the 4th inning, and currently North Alabama leading Lipscomb 7-0 in that game. It is on ESPN Plus if you'd like to get a look at that game. So a lot of sporting activity today here on the Lipscomb campus. So we mentioned the Bisons will be hosting Eastern Kentucky again tomorrow at a 1 p.m. start. And then on Tuesday, the Bisons will host Middle Tennessee at a 6 p.m. for the midweek. And then they go to North Alabama next weekend. The games will be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. As Coach Forehand mentioned, a shorter week than what we're accustomed to. Thursday's game will start at 5 p.m., Friday at 5 p.m., and Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time as the Bisons are on the road at North Alabama. And it looks like that Connor Davis is going to have to leave the game here. So we hope that he is okay, sending best wishes to that young man. Scary moment there as he was hit, and coming in to pinch run for him. We'll get a number for you here in just a moment. Looks like that's number 1, Santiago Peralta, a 5'10", 185-pound sophomore out of Lexington, Kentucky. So Peralta is going to come into the game for Davis, and Coach Matt Myers is going to go out and have a chat with Colin Witzke. So we're playing in the top of the 2nd inning. Eastern Kentucky is leading Lipscomb 2-0. The Colonels got a leadoff base hit from Max Williams, and after a line drive out from Kendall Ewell, Logan Thomason hammered a pitch way out of here in left center field. That staked the Colonels to a 2-0 lead. As we mentioned, they jumped out to a 2-0 lead in Friday night's game. The Bisons came back and tied it in the bottom of the 2nd. So the Colonels have their leadoff hitter on here. Connor Davis was hit by a pitch. He was injured, and he had to be replaced by Santiago Peralta, who's running now at first. So Peralta, your runner at first, and the hitter will be Roderick Chris, the junior right fielder, batting .291, 1 homer and 6 RBIs on the season. And he looks at a breaking pitch. 4 strike 1, 0-1 to Chris. Peralta on the season does not have a stolen base attempt. And that's another breaking ball in there, strike 2. So Witzke bouncing back. Always tough for the pitcher after you hit someone. You know that they're not intentionally throwing at anyone. And so when a pitch gets away and someone's injured, that's always a challenging moment for a pitcher. But Witzke has settled himself and come back and thrown 2 strikes in a row. Here's the 0-2, and he swings through that one, strike 3. So now nice bounce back there for Witzke. He'll get his 2nd strikeout of the day. That'll be the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Ron Franklin. Franklin, a sophomore, comes in batting .235 with 2 home runs and 14 RBIs. Franklin was 0 for 3 in last night's game. So he'll bat now with 1 out and the runner at first, Peralta. And he's running. Pitch is taken outside, throw down there, and they got him. Nice throw there by Bertolani. It was an off-speed pitch. Peralta had a decent jump, but he's caught stealing by Bertolani for the 2nd out of the inning. So Chaz Bertolani with a nice play, off-speed pitch on the outside. It was ruled a ball, and Bertolani caught it, quickly turned it around, and that'll be the 2nd out of the inning. So 2 outs now and bases empty for Franklin. And he hits this one towards Will Hoyt at 3rd. He gloves it on the big hop, throws over to 1st, and that will end the inning. So the Colonels get their leadoff man on, but can't do anything with it, and we've played 1.5 as we head to the bottom half of the 2nd inning. Your score, Eastern Kentucky 2 and Lipscomb 0. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the bottom half of the second inning. Reese Brown still on the mound for the Colonels, and he'll face 4, 5, and 6. Malik Williams, Rudy Maxwell, and Trace Wilhoit. Brown made short work of the Bisons in the bottom of the first. He had a strikeout, a couple of fly ball outs. So Malik Williams will start things off. Malik, leading hitter for the Bisons, comes in batting .366, 5 homers and 32 RBIs, and he looks at a slider in there for strike one. Malik was 1 for 3 last night, scored a couple of runs. That's another slider that's going to miss downstairs, and it'll be a ball and a strike. So Brown working really quickly here, likes to keep that tempo up. Something we saw from a lot of the EKU pitchers last night. That one's going to miss inside and low, and it'll be 2 balls and 1 strike on Malik Williams. Over at the Draper Diamond, the Lady Bison's mounting a bit of a comeback here. They've narrowed the gap 7-2 to North Alabama as Williams swings and fouls that one off at the plate. That will even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 7-2 North Alabama over Lipscomb in the bottom of the 4th inning over at the Draper Diamond. Brown's shortest start on the season. It's back on March 13th. He went just 2 1/3 innings against Austin Peay. Gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, all 4 earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. And that one's going to miss downstairs, and that'll run the count full on Malik Williams. So 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Bottom of the second inning, Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb 3-2. He swings and hits that one off the end of the bat towards the right side. Jones is going to field it and make a nice play over to first. So Williams grounded that one off the end of the bat to second base, and he'll be retired for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Rudy Maxwell. Maxwell now has upped his average to .297. He's got 5 homers and 26 RBIs, and that 5th home run came in last night's game where he hit a ball way out of here. Also had a sacrifice fly on the night, so Rudy with a good night last night. 2 for 3, scored a couple runs and 3 RBIs, and he looked at a slider outside for ball 1. Swung on and hit on the ground towards short. Thomason's going to glove it. He's going to throw on to first, and they'll retire Maxwell for the second out of the inning. So Brown working quickly and keeping his pitch count down low. He's only thrown 20 pitches here in the first inning and 2/3. Trace Wilhoit will stand in. Wilhoit batting .245 on the season, 6 homers and 16 RBIs, and those 6 home runs actually leads the team. And he swings through a fastball there, 0-1. Here comes the 0-1. Swings and hits that past the third baseman Davis for a base hit. That was a fastball that he came up and got and hit through the hole, and that'll be the first base hit and the first base runner of the day for the Bison. So Trace Wilhoit is aboard with 2 outs. And that'll bring up John Shields. Shields batting .253 on the season, 3 homers and 12 RBIs. And John just back in the lineup last night. He had missed a good bit of time. He fouled the ball off of his foot. That happened back at the Central Arkansas on the 27th of March, and so John had missed since then. He looks at a fastball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. So good to see John back in the lineup last night. He was 1 for 3 with a couple RBIs, and he hits this one in toward the gap in right center field. That's going to get down for a base hit towards the wall. Wilhoit's rounding second. He's coming to third. He's rounding third. He's going to be waved home. Shields is on his way to third base, and he's going to get in there with a sliding triple, and the Bisons have cut the lead to 2-1. So Wilhoit running all the way from first base with 2 outs, never hesitated. And 2 hits in the inning and a run across, and it's now 2-1 as John Shields has driven in his 13th run on the season. He hit that ball well. He hit a ball in very hard last night to deep center field. He thought he had hit it off the wall. It was an amazing running catch by Franklin in center field. He ended up with a sacrifice fly as the bases were loaded. But John Shields swinging a hot bat. Good to see him back in the lineup. So he's at third base with 2 outs, and David Coppage batting. Coppage batting .167 on the season, 1 homer and 5 RBIs, and that's a slider on the outside corner. So Brown has shown a pattern of throwing that slider on the first pitch. He's throwing it outside and landing it for strikes in many of those cases and getting himself ahead of these hitters. And there's another one that's going to miss downstairs. That'll leaving the count at a ball and a strike. So Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb 2-1, bottom half of the second inning. And that one is going to be in there for a strike. Coppage thought it might be high, but home plate umpire Luke Weems says, nope, that's a strike. It was a fairly high strike zone in last night's game as well. A lot of balls at the top edge of the zone were called strikes, and he swings through a slider there for strike 3. But the Bisons do get on the board. They score 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors, and they did leave 1 runner on base. So your new score at the end of 2 innings is Eastern Kentucky 2 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the top of the third inning. Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb 2-1. Colin Witzke back on the mound for the Bisons. He's gone the whole way. He's given up 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned, no walks and 2 strikeouts, and he's thrown 28 pitches to get through the first 2 innings. And he'll face the 9th place hitter Jalen Jones to lead things off for the Colonels. Jones batting .228 on the season, no homers and 9 RBIs, and he's still looking for his first hit on the weekend after going 0 for 3 in last night's game. Witzke starts him off with a breaking ball that he hits foul and out of play to the right side. No balls and 1 strikes. So we mentioned the Colonels had been red hot coming into this series. 18-3 in their last 21 games. They had 9 road wins already on the season, and they had 5 all of last year. And the Colonels with a lot of fresh faces this year, as we'll tell you about. First, the 0-1 pitch, and that swung on and hammered down the left field line. That's going to be down for extra bases. Maxwell's over to cut it off. Rounding first is Jones. He's headed towards second, and he's going to get in there with a sliding double. And for the 3rd inning in a row, the Colonels have their leadoff man aboard, as Jones turned and hit that one hard all the way down the left field line. And he'll be at second as we go back to the top of the order, and Max Williams. Williams singled sharply up the middle to start the game in the 1st inning, and then he scored on the home run off the bat of Thomason. Williams now 3 for 5 on the series so far. So see how the Colonels elect to play it. The Bison's 3rd baseman Will Hoyt is up in a bunt defense type position, and he starts him off with an off-speed pitch, and he hits it off the end of the bat, 0-1. So not bunting on that swing. And again, Williams, one of the better hitters on the team, came in hitting .274. He's now up to .280 on the season. Does have a couple of sacrifices on the year, so we'll see how Coach Prothro elects to play it here. First, the 0-1. That's going to miss outside, and that'll be a ball and a strike. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 swings through a off-speed pitch there, and it'll be a ball and 2 strikes. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. You'd have to think that the bunt is not in order here now with that count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. So we mentioned Chris Prothro. He's in his 2nd season, and prior to coming on, he had been at the University of South Alabama and had been a recruiting coordinator there and had a long and distinguished career. And check swing, did he go? 3rd base umpire Randy Hundley says he did not, and that'll leave in the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one was just missed low. So Prothro had been at South Alabama since July of 2015. Last year led the Colonels to a 13-17 mark in the Ohio Valley Conference as a fake of a move to second base there by Witzke. But really a very new roster this year. 38 new players on this 2022 team. 10 players returned from last year's team, but 6 of those were position starters. So a lot of starters back, but a lot of new faces as well. Here comes the 2-2. Inside part of the plate. Got him. Strike 3. So beautiful pitch there. Off-speed pitch. And Williams goes down looking for the first out of the inning. That'll be the 3rd strikeout on the day for Witzke, and that'll bring up the very dangerous Kendall Ewell. Ewell hit the ball hard, but lined it right to Rudy Maxwell back in the 1st inning, but comes in batting .395, and we mentioned that he's considered by D1 Baseball to be the #1 draft prospect in the entire Atlantic Sun Conference for this season. He also is the reigning ASUN Conference Player of the Week after hitting .611 in the previous week. And he swings through that off-speed pitch there, 0-1. Preceding week, Ewell had 8 runs. He had 1 double, a home run, and 6 RBIs, and .833 slugging percentage. So he is your reigning ASUN Conference Player of the Week, and again, clearly the best hitter in this lineup. A good-looking player who's showed some great defense both in last night's game and already today on that running catch that he got. And he's going to ask for and receive time. So no balls and 1 strike, 1 out. Jalen Jones, your runner at second. He led off the inning with a double, and Max Williams struck out, so he's 1 out and a man at second as we play in the top of the 3rd. Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb 2-1, and Witzke gets set to deal to Ewell, throws an off-speed pitch that just missed low, and the count will even at a ball and a strike. You can see the respect that they have for Kendall Ewell, trying not to throw him in a fastball in the middle of the plate. That's a fastball. It's going to bounce away from Bertolani, and the runner's going to advance over to 3rd. So I don't know if they might have been crossed up there. When the Bisons have an opposing runner on second base, they go to a wristband system with a code flashed in from the dugout so that both pitcher and catcher can look down and get that signal. And I don't know if they might have been crossed up, as it looked like Bertolani didn't see that one all the way. But 2 balls and 1 strike is the count on Ewell, and Jalen Jones is now over at 3rd base with 1 out. And he swings to another slider there. 2-2 the count. Bison infield is back. They'll concede the run here to get an out. And I got to believe they may go off speed again here on Ewell. He's a really good fastball hitter. But we'll see how Coach Myers and the staff elect to play it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. And Witzke going from the stretch. Swings and hits it on the ground to 3rd base. Will Hoyt's going to check the runner and fire to 1st. Nice job there. He did indeed throw him a breaking ball, and he did just what he wanted to do. Got him to come around it and ground it out to 3rd base, and that's a big second out of the inning as the runner remains at 3rd. But there's still trouble on the way, and that's Mr. Logan Thomason, and Thomason already has a home run in today's game. Back in the 1st inning, he hit a long shot that easily cleared the trees in left field. So 1 for 1 on the day. That was his first hit of the weekend. He's 1 for 5, but it was a very loud and very emphatic hit. So he bats now with 2 outs and a runner at 3rd. And he starts him off with a breaking ball that catches the inside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Will King waits on deck if Thomason can extend the inning. Thomason is also considered a draft prospect. D1 Baseball identified him as well as Jalen Jones as prospects for the 2022 draft. That one's going to miss outside. Nice play by Bertolani there. According to D1 Baseball, the infielder Jalen Jones is the 9th best prospect, and Logan Thomason the 22nd best prospect for the draft out of the Atlantic Sun Conference, in addition to Kendall Ewell, who is the top draft prospect. So a lot of guys who are getting some looks from scouts on this Eastern Kentucky roster. Beautiful breaking ball there. It must have stayed inside as it's ruled a ball. So 2 balls and 1 strike. So a lot of talent on this roster, and you can see why they've been playing well. As we said, they came in winning 18 of their last 21 games before last night's affair. Here comes the 2-1. Fastball's going to miss down and outside, so it'll be 3-1. First base is open. You may wonder if they sort of pitch around Thomason here to get to King, although King also an excellent hitter, but we'll see how the staff elects to attack Thomason with a 3-ball, 1-strike count. Again, Jones, your runner at third base. And he's going to throw a breaking ball that's going to stay high for ball 4. That's the first walk of the day for Witzke, and so runners will be at the corners with 2 outs for Will King, and he was a strikeout victim back in the first inning as he looked at a strike on a 3-2 pitch. Thomason, who runs at first, only 1 stolen base in 2 attempts on the season. So as we mentioned, the Colonels don't tend to run a lot. They've got runners on the corners with 2 outs. And Witzke starts him off with a slider that misses high and inside. It'll be 1 ball and no strikes. So that 4 innings last week against Bellarmine was Witzke's longest action of the season. Prior to that, he'd thrown a total of 2 innings. He did get the start at Louisville back on March 22nd, went 2 innings, walked 1, didn't strike out anybody, didn't give up any hits or any runs. So just the 3rd game started on the season for Witzke. He's going to throw to first, and they're going to chase Thomason back. Started that game and started the game against Vanderbilt on March 29th, went an inning and a third, gave up 2 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs. So got to think that he's probably not someone they're counting on to go deep into the ball game today. That one's going to miss downstairs, and that'll be 2 balls and no strikes. Again, the Bisons only used 2 pitchers last night, with Dunkelberger giving them 7 outstanding innings, Bonner coming in and shutting the door for 2 innings. So lots of arms in the bullpens. I think a total of 21 pitchers on this staff. So there are a lot of options available for Coach Forehand and Coach Myers. Here comes the 2-0 pitch to Will King, and that's going to be a fastball that'll miss outside, ball 3. So 3 balls and no strikes, and we'll see if they turn King loose here to swing the bat with runners on the corners and 2 outs. And he is indeed swinging. He hits this a mile high in the air. It's out into left field. Rudy Maxwell is camped out under it, and he's going to record the 3rd out of the inning. So King swung at a 3-0 pitch, but hit it a mile high into the air at left field for the 3rd out. So the Colonels will strand 2 runners on base. There were no runs. They did have 1 hit in addition to those 2 men stranded. And we head to the bottom half of the 3rd. Your score, Eastern Kentucky 2 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. To the bottom of the 3rd inning we go. 9-1-2 for the Bisons. Chaz Bertolani, Caleb Ketchup, and Maddox Houghton. Reese Brown on the mound for the Colonels, as they've out-hit the Bisons 3-2, but the Bisons did fight back after falling behind 2-0. They put up a single run in the bottom of the 2nd inning, with Trace Wilhoit getting a single and John Shields getting a triple, and Bertolani will lead things off here. Chaz batting .200 on the season, 1 homer, 7 RBIs. Looking for his first hit in the series, and he starts him off with a fastball outside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. Got our Lipscomb Bison baseball trivia for this half inning. And we'll get to that after this pitch. He swings and hits a base hit into right field. So Bertolani reached out and hit a fastball into right, and he's got a leadoff single for the Bisons here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. That'll be the 3rd hit of the day for the Bisons. It'll take us to the top of the order in Caleb Ketchup, and Ketchup was a quick strikeout victim back in the 1st. 3 straight pitches. He was called out on strikes on the 3rd one. So Caleb will bat now. for 5 on the weekend. We'll see how Coach Forehand elects to play it. Bertolani runs well at first base. And Ketchup certainly can handle the bat as well. He is bunting, and he bunts it foul, and it's caught barehanded. Nice play by King. So Ketchup tried to put that bunt down, and King chasing it and grabbing it barehanded. So nice play there by King. Caleb Ketchup fails to get the bunt down, and so that's a first out of the inning on a nice play by King. Maddox Houghton's up. He lined out back in the first inning, hit a sinking line drive that Ewell was able to get in and glove. Again, Houghton batting .262 on the season. So our trivia question is, who holds the single season record for home runs in the Lipscomb program during the NCAA era? That's a slider that misses downstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Who has the single season record for home runs? Is it Malik Williams, Michael Gigliotti, or Caleb Joseph? Which of those 3 do you think has the single season home run record? We'll give you the answer the next half inning. Maddox Houghton's going to have a base hit over shortstop into left center field. Bertolani's going to stop at second. And Houghton with a solid base hit, and the Bisons are in business with runners on first and second now with 1 out, and that'll bring up Mason Lundgren. 2 hits in the inning now, and Lundgren flew out to left field in his first at bat on the day. Batting .271 on the season is Mason. As we mentioned, good speed on the base paths here. Maddox Houghton 12 out of 12 on steals. Bertolani 1 for 1 for steals on the season. The Bisons as a team are 54 out of 64 as stolen bases. They really like to move things around with those steals. As he looks at a pitch off the plate for ball 1. So 2-1, Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb. Game 2 of a 3-game series between these 2 conference foes. Eastern Kentucky came in first place in the Western Division with a record of 8-1, and the Bisons prevailed in last night's game. That's hit on the ground towards second. Could be 2. The throw over to second for 1 and on to first, and they got it. Double play. Nice pick up there by the shortstop Thomason. He had to pick that one up low, and he threw on to first base, and the pitcher's best friend there with a 4-6-3 double play to erase the threat for the Bisons. So they pick up no runs on 2 hits. There were no errors, and they did leave another runner on base. We've played 3 full innings in your score. Eastern Kentucky 2 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We go to the top of the 4th inning. Colin Witzke back on the mound for the Bisons. He's gone all the way, surrendering 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and he's got 5, 6, 7 due up for Eastern Kentucky, starting with Ludwig and then Peralta and Chris. Ludwig flew out to center field in his first at bat on the day. Still looking for his first hit on the weekend as he's 0 for 4 now. And he swings and has his first base hit. Despite the shift, he hits that over the head of the shifted second baseman Coppage. And that's going to be a base hit. That'll be the 4th hit of the day for Eastern Kentucky. And again, for the 4th inning in a row, they've got their leadoff man aboard. They have had the leadoff man aboard in every inning with a base hit in the first, a hit by pitch in the second, and a double in the third. So again, outstanding offensive club for Coach Chris Prothro, and that'll bring up Santiago Peralta. Peralta batting just .077 on the season. He's only had 13 at-bats. He has 1 hit, no sacrifices. We'll see if he's bunting here. Throw's going to go to first. He does not show bunt. So Ludwig, your runner at first. No stolen base attempts on the season for Ludwig. And he shows bunt, pulls off it, and he takes a slider on the outside corner, 0-1. So Peralta on in relief for Connor Davis. Davis, the third baseman, started. He was hit in the face by a pitch back in the second inning and had to leave the game. And again, we continue to send our best wishes to Connor Davis and hope that he is not seriously injured and can recover quickly from that blow. But glad to see him getting the attention he needs. Shows bunt again, takes it down, and the count leaving it a ball and a strike. Bertolani looked at the runner at first, but again, Ludwig without a big lead over there. Again, we'll mention 4 innings is the longest outing of the season for Colin Witzke, so we're seeing a little bit of stirring down in the Bison's bullpen. Nobody throwing yet, but a lot of stretching going on. And that's going to be through there for a strike. Looks like a changeup, and it's a ball and 2 strikes on Peralta. So we'll see if they elect to take the bunt off now. Infield double play depth up the middle. Third baseman Will Hoyt will retreat a few steps behind the bag, straight away in the outfield. And here comes the 1-2 pitch from Colin Witzke. And he got him on another off-speed pitch. So good sequence there for Witzke. It's going to be his 4th strikeout on the day. He's had 1 strikeout in every inning, and that'll bring up Roderick Chris. And Chris is one of those strikeout victims. He struck out swinging back in the 2nd. Still looking for his first hit on the weekend as he's 0 for 5 so far. Looks at a breaking ball in the dirt. It's going to get away from Bertolani, and that's going to allow Ludwig to advance down to second. That'll go as a wild pitch. That was a breaking ball that bounced at about 57 feet and got away from Chaz Bertolani, and it'll be a ball and no strikes to Roderick Chris. So Ludwig will now be in scoring position at second base with 1 out. And as you'll see, Witzke looking now at that flashing board. Looks at the card on his wrist to get the pitch, as both he and the catcher will, as can all the fielders. Everybody knows what the pitch call is, and that apparently was a fastball. It's going to miss outside. It'll be 2 balls and no strikes. So that's something, again, you see the Bisons do with a runner on second base. Numbers flashed on a board out of the dugout. Witzke gets the sign off his wristband, as do the catcher and the other fielders. And here comes the 2-0. And it's a breaking ball in there for a strike, 2-1. So he's had more success landing the breaking ball here in this inning. And he's really kept the Colonel's hitters off balance with that breaking ball. So 2 balls and 1 strike. And another one, change up there, and he got him swinging through it. So Witzke doing a really good job decelerating the baseball. And again, it's all about deception. Hitting is about timing, and pitching is about disrupting timing. And that's what he's done a good job of here. And he's got a 2-ball, 2-strike count now on Chris with Franklin on deck. Goes fastball there and misses outside, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Again, Witzke now at 53 pitches through the first 3 1/3 innings here today. And someone's starting to throw down in the Bison's bullpen. We'll try to get a number for you there when we can in just a moment. First, the payoff pitch. Swings and taps it foul. And the count will remain 3 balls and 2 strikes. Looks like a right-hander throwing in the Bison's bullpen. Can't quite make a number out yet from our vantage point. But we'll keep an eye on that. It looks like Chris was a little shaken up by that swing. So he's going to take a moment. Home plate umpire Luke Weems is going to ask him if he's okay. So that'll give us a chance to go back to our trivia question. We asked you who had the most home runs in a season for the Bisons. Was it Malik Williams, Michael Gigliotti, or Caleb Joseph? And we'll give you the answer after this payoff pitch. Just missed off the plate, ball 4. That was a slider that just missed. That'll be the second walk of the day for Witzke, and runners will be at first and second with 1 out for Ron Franklin, who grounded out to third base in his first at-bat. Franklin batting .233 on the season. So the correct answer for today's trivia question is Caleb Joseph. He had 17 home runs back in the 2008 season, so Caleb Joseph, the answer to today's Bison trivia question, as the single-season leader for home runs in the NCAA Division I era. So Eastern Kentucky threatening here, runners first and second, 1 out, and I believe he did indeed swing at that one. That will be a strike on a breaking pitch that stayed high, but Franklin offered at it, so no balls and 1 strike. Good crowd on hand today, as we said. Lots of sunshine at the ballpark and considerably warmer than it was last night. Temperature in the 50s with a strong wind. That's a strike through there, 0-2. If you're in the area, come on out. Still got plenty of action in this one, and love to see you tomorrow at a 1 p.m. start for the rubber game of this 3-game series between these two teams. Some excellent college baseball. Two good teams playing here in Nashville. It's an 0-2 count from Witzke. And that's a breaking ball that'll stay high, and it'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jones waits on deck for the Colonels. Each team with 4 hits, but Eastern Kentucky has 2 runs and Lipscomb has 1. Neither team has committed an error thus far as we play here in the 4th inning. And the 1-2 is a slider that'll miss outside. It'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll also get you caught up on some scores during this inning between the area teams that are on the Bison schedule, as well as the Atlantic Sun Conference. All the conference teams in action today. But first, the 2-2 pitch from Witzke. Misses away outside again, and he's gone full. So, second hitter in a row, he's gone to a 3-ball count. He's had a couple of hitters at a 3-ball count in almost every inning, except for that second inning, where he had a 1-2-3 inning, aided by the double play ground ball, or correction, the caught stealing, rather, of the pinch runner Peralta. So full count here, runners first and second, and 1 out. That's going to miss way high. So back-to-back walks by Witzke, and that's going to load the bases for Eastern Kentucky. Ludwig will trot to third, Chris to second, and Franklin to first. And Jalen Jones is up, and he doubled in his first at-bat back in the second inning. 1 hit and 4 trips on the weekend, and so I would think Witzke now at 66 pitches, 3 1/3 innings, and activity's intensifying a little bit down in the Bison's bullpen. Again, can't quite get a number from our vantage point due to where the shadows are at the moment, but this is Witzke's man to get, and he swings through an off-speed pitch there, 0-1. Third baseman third baseman Wilhoit is a step or so inside the bag, double play depth up the middle, and then first baseman Williams is in fairly standard position. The outfield's straight away and deep. Wind continues to blow out towards left field, and time is called in the box there by Jones. So they are using a 20-second pitch clock with runners on base. There's not an actual clock on display. Time is kept by the third base umpire, and there is a warning system so that a pitcher gets 1 warning. After that warning, any delay would be assessed a ball on the pitcher and a strike on the hitter. And that's a slider on the outside corner there, 0-2. Big pitch by Witzke as he executed that one to get Jones in the hole now, no balls and 2 strikes. So bases are full, and we've got 1 out. We're playing the top of the 4th inning. Eastern Kentucky already leading 2-1 and threatening to add to that lead here. And Witzke would love to get a strikeout or a ground ball or something to get himself out of this inning here without further damage. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Jalen Jones. Almost hit him. That was a slider that didn't move. So it's going to be a ball and 2 strikes. Top of the order, and Max Williams on deck for the Colonels. Again, Jones batting just .228, but highly thought of as a prospect. We mentioned he being one of the 9th best prospect in the ASUN Conference for the draft this year, according to D1 Baseball. So he's off to a bit of a slow start, but you know there's some talent there for this young man. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and he swings through a slider, strike 3. Big strikeout there for Witzke for the second out of the inning, and that's going to be his 5th strikeout on the day. So 5 strikeouts now for Witzke, and that was a big one. And back to the top of the order now with Max Williams. Williams singled back in the first and scored, and was called out on strikes last inning in the 3rd. So he's batting for the 3rd time today. 3 for 6 on the weekend is Max Williams, and .278 on the season. So he bats now with 2 outs and the bases full. Top of the 4th, 2-1 Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb. And he swings through the slider there, 0-1. So you can tell that Witzke is really giving them fits with that off-speed stuff, the slider and the changeup it looks like that he's throwing. They've had some trouble picking up the spin and getting the timing down. No balls, 1 strike on Williams. Another breaking ball that's going to miss inside. That'll even the count at a ball and a strike. Game moving right along. We played 2 hours and 16 minutes for a full 9 inning last night, despite 9 runs scoring and 13 base hits. But it was a cold night, and I don't think anyone was complaining about getting that one over in an efficient manner. Here comes the 1-1 from Witzke to Williams. Misses downstairs, and 2 balls and 1 strike. Shift is on again. Coppage pulled over into the hole between first and second. Shortstop Caleb Ketchup is almost straight up the middle. First baseman Malik Williams guarding the line, and third baseman Trace Wilhoit in a fairly normal position. So big hole where the shortstop would normally be playing if Williams can go the other way. Here's the 2-1. That's in there for a strike, 2-2. It's like a slider there that he took. He froze him. So 2 balls, 2 strikes against Max Williams. Big moment here for Witzke, trying to escape damage as the Colonels have had base runners in every inning, and they've loaded the bases here in the top of the 4th, and we await the 2-2 pitch from Witzke. Just missed inside and low, like a slider there, so that's going to run the count full. So the runners will be on the move. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Once again, Ludwig running at third, Chris at second, and Franklin at first, and they will be running on the pitch as we await the payoff from Witzke. Swung and fouled at the plate. That was a slider that he just reached down and spoiled to stay alive, 3-2. So we'll do it again on a 3-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs. Instead, an inside move to second. Nobody there, but they were chasing the runner back, seeing if they could catch him napping out there. Again, with a 3-2 count and 2 outs, you expect the runners to be on the move. And Witzke took a look at second, but instead now he'll pitch to Max Williams for the payoff. And he missed high. That was a slider that just slipped out of his hand. You can see that one come out in a funny manner. That's going to be the 3rd walk of the inning for Witzke, and it'll bring across the 3rd run of the day for the Colonels. And the bases will remain loaded for this very dangerous hitter, Kendall Ewell, and I think we're going to have a pitching change. Coach Jeff Forehand on his way to the mound. Witzke up to 77 pitches. He's done a nice job keeping his team in the game here, and had a chance to get out of it there, but that one slipped out of his hand. So we'll step aside with the pitching change. We'll tell you all about the new pitcher when we come back. We're playing in the top of the 4th inning, and Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb 2-1. And you're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. New Bison's pitcher is junior right-hander Matthew Maldonado, 6-foot-tall, 204-pounder out of Seguin, Texas. Maldonado comes in making his 11th appearance on the season. He's thrown 8 1/3 innings, given up 10 hits, 8 runs, 5 earned, 15 strikeouts against 7 walks. Record of 0-1 and a 5.40 ERA. And Maldonado's last action was April 3rd at Bellarmine, where he worked a scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts. He appeared before that against Vanderbilt, where he did not give up an earned run in an inning's worth of work. So he inherits a tough situation here. The best hitter on the team in Kendall Ewell is up, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Ewell 0 for 2 on the day, lined out to left field in the first inning and then grounded out to grounded out to third base back in the third inning. So 0 for 2 for Ewell. And he'll face Matthew Maldonado, the hard-throwing right-hander, and he starts him off with an off-speed pitch that swings through for strike one. So Ewell has shown a good bat on the fastball. He struggled a little bit on the off-speed stuff here. 2 for 6 now on the weekend is Kendall Ewell. But again, a very dangerous hitter, batting .391 on the season. 5 homers and 29 RBIs. Maldonado throws a fastball high, 1-1. So Maldonado's fastball will run up into the low to mid-90s. We've seen him up to 94, 95 with that fastball. Also will throw a breaking pitch and a changeup as well. But his calling card is that power fastball, and he's not afraid to challenge hitters with it. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Kendall Ewell. And that's fastball just missed off the plate. Good spot, didn't get the call. 2 balls, 1 strike. No place to put Ewell. Already 3 walks in the inning and 1 run in as a result of that. Eastern Kentucky leading 3-1 here as we play in the top of the 4th inning, with the bases loaded and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. And he swings and fouls that slider back 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ewell. Inning started with a base hit off the bat of Ludwig. He advanced to second on a wild pitch. There was a strikeout of Peralta, and then back-to-back walks to Chris and Franklin. Strikeout of Jones, and then a walk to Williams. So that's how we've gotten to this point of bases loaded and 1 run in already and 3 men on, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Kendall Ewell, and Matthew Maldonado gets set to deliver. And he swings and hits it on the ground to short. Ketchup's going to glove and throw to second, and he's going to get him there. So nice job by Maldonado. He comes in and gets a ground ball off the bat of Ewell, and that will strand 3 runners on base. But the Colonels do pick up 1 run on 1 hit. There were no errors and 3 men left on base. The Colonels have stranded 5 through the first 4 innings. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Your new score, Eastern Kentucky 3 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. We're headed to the home half of the 4th inning. Eastern Kentucky 3 runs on 4 hits, no errors. Lipscomb 1 run on 4 hits, no errors. And Reese Brown back out on the mound for the Colonels. He's gone the whole way. In 3 innings, he's given up 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. And he's needed only 35 pitches to get through those first 3 innings. And he'll face 4, 5, and 6, the heart of the Bison's order, with Williams, Maxwell, and Wilhoit due, as Eastern Kentucky has stretched that lead out to 3-1 with a run in the top of the 4th. And so Reese Brown back to work for the Colonels, and Malik Williams grounded out back in the 2nd inning, so he's 0 for 1 on the day, still batting .363 on the season. And he starts him off with a pitch that misses outside, 1 ball and no strikes. So as we mentioned, we'll get you caught up on some scores of area teams and teams that are on the Bison schedule, as well as the ASUN scoreboard. Fastball misses outside, 2-0. 1 final in the books already. Bellarmine has beaten North Alabama 18-3. That's the final from earlier today up in Louisville. North Florida, Jacksonville are tied 3-3 in the bottom of the 6th. And he swung in through that breaking pitch, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Second game between Bellarmine and North Alabama, and Bellarmine's leading 11-0 in that one. So Bellarmine really swinging it today. They've erupted for 18 runs in game 1 and have put up 11 already in game 2 against North Alabama in that twin bill. Florida Gulf Coast and Liberty due to start at 3 p.m. Central. Malik hits this a mile high in the air towards the left side of the infield. Thompson's calling everybody off. Thomason rather. Nope, now it's going to be Ewell coming in from left field, and he will retire Malik Williams for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Rudy Maxwell. Rudy grounded out to short back in the second inning. 2 for 4 on the weekend is Rudy Maxwell. Other games later this afternoon in the A-Sun. Jacksonville State and Central Arkansas will play at 4 p.m. Central. Slider misses outside and high, ball 1. Kennesaw State and Stetson play at 5:30. And Missouri and Tennessee play at 5 p.m. Rudy tries to check his swing but can't, and that'll be a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. Other area games in the bottom of the 4th, Tennessee Tech and Belmont are scoreless, and Austin Peay and Tennessee Martin due to start up at 3. That's hit foul down the left side, and the count will be a ball and 2 strikes on Rudy Maxwell. Trace Wilhoit is waiting on deck. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, bases empty, and he got him on that slider there. Nice pitch there from Reese Brown, and he'll retire Maxwell swinging for the second out of the inning. That's the 3rd strikeout of the day for Reese Brown, and that'll bring up Trace Wilhoit. Wilhoit single to start that second inning. After 2 quick outs, Wilhoit singled and John Shields tripled, and that's the one Bison's run of the day so far. So Eastern Kentucky leading 3-1, and that's a slider that's going to stay low for ball 1. Wilhoit batting .252 on the season. That's a breaking ball in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mentioned that he leads the Bisons with 6 home runs on the season. That one's going to miss downstairs, so it'll be 2 balls and 1 strike on Wilhoit. John Shields waits on deck if Wilhoit can extend this inning. It was a 1-2-3 first inning for the Bisons, and that's the only time they've been put down in order thus far with their 4th turn at bat here, and that's a slider that's going to catch the inside corner. It's 2-2, so 2 balls, 2 strikes on Wilhoit. Batting with 2 outs and the bases empty in the bottom of the 4th inning. Another slider, and he fouled that one back. Staying alive, 2-2. Don't see the Colonels shifting nearly as much as the Bisons do. Their infield is playing a lot more of a traditional defense, other than the first baseman Ludwig plays quite a ways off the line at first. But otherwise, you don't see them doing quite as much shifting as a lot of teams do. And that's going to hit down past third base for a base hit. It's going to head to the corner. Diving attempt by Davis, but Wilhoit is headed towards second. Ewell's going to come up with it. And Trace Wilhoit, second hit of the day, a stand-up double to put a runner in scoring position with 2 outs for the Bisons. 5th hit of the day for Lipscomb, and here comes John Shields, who has one of those hits. He had a triple off the right center field wall back in the second inning, driving in the only run of the day for the Bisons. So John Bass now with 2 outs and a runner at second. Shields up to 262 on the season. He's got 3 homers and 13 RBIs. He's going to look at a slider on the outside corner for strike 1. So after talking about not a lot of shifting, the Colonels respond with a shift here. Jones pulled over into the hole between first and second. Shortstop Thomason is almost up straight up the middle, leaving just Davis on the left side there. And hitting it that way is Shields. Is going to be gloved, however, by Davis, and he's going to throw on to first and retire Shields for the out. So it looks like Shields tried to go that way, but he got it off the end of the bat a little bit. And he's retired for the 3rd out of the inning. So there were no runs on 1 hit. The Bisons did leave a runner. They left 3 runners through the first 4 innings. And as we complete 4 innings, your score, Eastern Kentucky 3 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. To the fifth inning we head. Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb 3-1. Matthew Maldonado back out on the mound for the Bisons. He came on in a tough spot in the fourth. Bases were loaded, and he got Kendall Ewell to ground out to end the threat, and so he'll be back out now facing 3, 4, and 5 for the Colonels, Thomason, King, and Ludwig. And Thomason had that 2-run home run back in the first inning. He's also walked, so he's been on base twice, and he bats now to start things off in the fifth for the Colonels. And a fastball will miss downstairs, ball 1. Lipscomb out hitting Eastern Kentucky 5-4, but the Colonels lead where it counts on the scoreboard. Check swing there, and he hits it foul. It'll be a ball and a strike. So we mentioned the standings. This year, the Atlantic Sun Conference divided into an East and a West division. Eastern Kentucky in the western side along with Lipscomb. And they continue to lead the Western Division with a record of 8 wins and 2 losses. They're 21-9 overall coming into today's game. The 1-1 from Maldonado is a beautiful breaking ball that's in there for a strike. Ball and 2 strikes. Jacksonville State's in second place with a record of 7-3. They're 13-14 overall after starting slowly, 4-10. 9-4 in their last 13 games are the Gamecocks. And here comes the 1-2. Misses outside with a fastball, 2-2. So third place is Central Arkansas. They sit at 6-4, 11-17 overall. Lipscomb is next with 5-5, 16-14 overall. Then North Alabama 2-8 and Bellarmine 2-8. North Alabama 8-20 overall. Bellarmine 4-25. That's it on the ground towards Ketchup. It's short. He gloves it, throws on to first. High throw, and he's going to pull Williams off the bag, and they're going to say he came off. So the throw was high. Malik Williams had to leave the bag to get it. He did. He came back and tried to get the bag or tag the runner and couldn't do either. And they're going to score that as an error on Caleb Ketchup. So Thomason will be aboard. And again, 5th inning in a row that the Colonels are going to have a leadoff runner on base. And that's Logan Thomason. So that'll bring up Will King, the catcher. He struck out and flied out, 0 for 2 on the day. 1 for 6 on the weekend is King. Aldo starts him off with a fastball that misses inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Thomason on the season, 1 for 2 on stolen bases. I mentioned that the Gamecocks don't run a whole lot, 27 of 35 on the season for steals. By comparison, the Bisons have twice as many stolen bases. They got 54 out of 64 attempts. Swung through that one and fouled it off. That'll even the count at a ball and a strike. Looked like a high fastball that he couldn't get around on. We did mention earlier that King is on the watch list for the Buster Posey Award as the National Collegiate Catcher of the Year, one of 3 ASUN players on that watch list. He swings and taps that one foul, be a ball and 2 strikes. King also awfully tough to strike out. He's only struck out 9 times in 102 at-bats on the season. That makes him the toughest player in the ASUN by statistics to strike out, and he's 22nd in the country in that time. So a tough man to get on strikes, but Maldonado's got him 1-2, and he throws a breaking pitch that stays high and 2-2. King is a catcher. Many times you like to think of them as really knowing that strike zone. They have good plate discipline and really can recognize spin, and so they tend to walk a lot, but King also obviously can handle the bat with that low strikeout rate. 2-2 pitch due from Aldo. Instead, he'll go to first, and Thomason's going to get back. Maldonado's longest outing of the year has been just an inning, so we'll keep an eye on that as we move forward here. That's a fastball that'll miss high, and the count will now be full on Will King. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out and a runner at first. We're playing in the top of the 5th inning, and Eastern Kentucky's leading Lipscomb 3-1. Game 2 of this 3-game series after the Bisons won on Friday night by a count of 7-2. Conference matchup between these 2 Western Division rivals in the ASUN Conference. Other action last night, Jacksonville State beat Central Arkansas 4-3, and we mentioned that Bellarmine's already beaten North Alabama today, and that's going to hit him. That was a breaking ball that got away from him. And so that's going to be 2 on and nobody out after the error and the hit by pitch. And Charles Ludwig is going to stand in there. Ludwig has flown out to left center field and singled and scored a run. So 1 for 2 on the day and 1 for 5 on the weekend. And starting to see a little bit of scrambling around down in the Bison's bullpen. Once again, got someone throwing down there, and it's just tough to make out the number from our vantage point. The pitcher is just behind a screen that the lighting is making a little tough to see through, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. But the Gamecocks are threatening here in the top of the 5th inning. They've got runners first and second, and Ludwig batting with nobody out. And inside move there. Ludwig did not show bunt. We'll see how Coach Prothro and the Colonels elect to play this one. Not bunting, looks at a breaking ball downstairs. Nice job by Bertolani to keep that one in front of him. It'll be a ball and no strikes. Colonel's an outstanding defensive team. They came into this weekend with only 21 errors, fewest in the conference. So, again, a good team who's swung it well, has some excellent pitching, and is playing good defense. That one misses outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Again, we mentioned 6 starters back, but 38 new players total for Coach Prothro and the Eastern Kentucky Colonels. And heading out to the mound is going to be pitching coach Matt Myers. As he does, we'll tell you about the Eastern Division of the ASUN. Kennesaw State's leading that division with a record of 8-2. The Owls are 19-9 overall. They won yesterday at Stetson 11-1. Florida Gulf Coast in second place, 7-3. 20-10 overall. They lost yesterday at Liberty 11-3. Liberty's in third place with a 5-5 record, 18-10 overall. They had that win against Gulf Coast yesterday. Stetson is next at 4-6, 16-13 overall. They lost 11-1 to Kennesaw State yesterday. Jacksonville is at 3-7, and North Florida is at 3-7. Jacksonville is 15-12 on the season. North Florida struggling at 12-19. And in yesterday's action, North Florida defeated Jacksonville 9-6. So that's your ASUN standings heading into today's game. It's a 2-ball, no-strike count on Ludwig with runners first and second. Thomason at second, King, your runner at first, and he misses way inside there, and it's 3-0. So Maldonado struggling to find the zone a little bit here. Peralta is on deck, but it's a 3-ball, no-strike count to Ludwig, and you'd probably think he's taking a pitch here since last few have missed the zone, and that one's going to miss as well, ball 4. So the bases are loaded. Second inning in a row that the Colonels have loaded the bases and nobody out, and Peralta stands in to bat. Peralta came on as a substitute back in the second inning. Connor Davis was hit in the face by a pitch. Peralta came in and ran for him, was caught stealing. He struck out swinging back in the 4th. So he's 0 for 1 on the day, but looks like we're going to have a pitching change. And we'll step aside while that change occurs, tell you all about it when we come back. We're playing in the top of the 5th inning. Your score, Eastern Kentucky 3 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. The new Bison's pitcher is number 15, senior left-hander Noah Thompson, 6-foot-tall, 209-pounder out of Louisville, Kentucky. Thompson making his 10th appearance on the season. He's had 2 starts. He's worked 22 1/3 innings, given up 23 hits, 16 runs, 13 earned. He's got 24 strikeouts and 10 walks. Comes in with a record of 2 wins and 1 loss and an ERA of 5.24. His last action was last Saturday at Bellarmine, where he went 3 innings as a start, giving up 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 3 walks, no strikeouts. He's also started against Central Arkansas. And he comes in a tough spot here. Bases are loaded as Thomason reached on a throwing error to start the inning and then hit by pitch to King and a base on balls to Ludwig. So third pitcher of the day out there for the Bisons. Colin Witzke started and was relieved after 3 2/3 by Matthew Maldonado. And Santiago Peralta is going to bat for Eastern Kentucky. The Colonels are leading 3-1. And we mentioned that last night the Bison's pitchers only walked 1 hitter in the entire game. Been a different story today, as 5 walks already for the Bison's pitching staff. And I know that'll be a point of emphasis for the coaching staff. So Noah Thompson called on in a tough spot here with the bases full. We'll see what Peralta does. He checks his swing and I believe fouled it, and so that'll be a strike. 0-1. Will Hoyt even with a bag at third. Williams back at first. Double play depth up the middle. Again, we're in the 5th inning, so the Bisons will concede a run to try to get a couple of outs here. Outfield is straight away and pretty deep. Left fielder Rudy Maxwell is back deep. Again, the wind is blowing out that way. That's a fastball that'll miss high, and it'll be a ball and a strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike on Peralta as Noah Thompson comes in trying to shut things down here. Eastern Kentucky, again, they've had a leadoff runner on every inning and had bases loaded in 2 consecutive innings here, and that one's going to miss inside as well. And it'll be 2 balls and 1 strike on Peralta. Roderick Chris rates on deck for the Colonels. Again, they came in batting .270 as a team, so this is a good offensive team. Swung on and hammered down the left field line, and that's going to be foul. Almost hit Thomason over there, but he was able to remain in foul territory. So Peralta turned on that one, but that's going to be 2 balls, 2 strikes. Looked like a fastball that he turned on. So 2-2 on Peralta. Again, a replacement infielder. Sophomore, 5'10", 185 pounds out of Lexington, Kentucky. Played at Lexington Catholic High School. And it's a 2-2 pitch due from Noah Thompson to Peralta. And fastball is going to stay high, and it's going to be 3-2. Nowhere to put Peralta as the bases are full of Colonels. Thomason running at third, skiing a runner at second, Ludwig running at first. Peralta with a slightly open stance up there, and he gets set to see the payoff pitch from Noah Thompson. And he swings and fouls it off like a breaking ball that hung up there, and he fought it off. So good job there by Peralta. Those 2 strike counts, the hitters just have to sometimes spoil one and try to live to fight another pitch, and that's what Peralta did there. No activity down in the Colonel's bullpen. Reese Brown's been in command and has gone the whole way. And we mentioned that he's pitched deep into a number of his starts, and looks like he's going to try to do that again today. Here comes the payoff pitch from Thompson, and he swung through strike 3. Big strikeout there. Looked like a changeup. And that's a big strikeout for Noah Thompson. So 1 out now, bases loaded, and Roderick Chris is up. Chris has struck out and walked on the day. So he's 0 for 1. He's 0 for 5 on the weekend. Batting .286 though on the season, so you know that this guy can swing it a bit. And that's a breaking ball that stays way high for ball 1. Again, the Colonels loaded the bases back in the 4th inning, only scored 1 run as Matthew Maldonado came in and got a ground ball out to hold it right there, but they're threatening again here in the 5th, and that's a breaking ball that swung and hit foul back, 1-1. We've seen this Bison pitching staff go with a lot of breaking balls to these Colonels hitters. Their aggressive team likes to hit the fastball, and so Bisons have tried to use the off-speed stuff, change-ups, and mixing of sliders to keep them off balance. As we said, a good offensive team, batting .270 on the season. Hit a number of balls hard last night and have again today. Here comes the 1-1, and he swings through that one and doesn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Noah Thompson with a fastball, a big sweeping curveball that he'll throw in there. Has one that he'll throw at a fairly slow speed that can curve in, as well as a changeup. And he's got a 1-ball, 2-strike count here on Chris. And he hits that off the end of the bat towards first. Malik Williams tries to glove it. It's at his feet, and he's going to drop it and flip to first too late. And that's going to get a run across. And I believe that'll probably be scored an error. That was hit off the end of the bat just like a cue ball shot. It went to Malik Williams. He was trying to quickly glove it, step on first, and then hopefully cut down another runner. And it indeed will be considered an error. That's the second error of the inning for the Bisons. And another run. That'll be a 4th run of the day. No hits yet in this inning, and yet a run is pushed across, and the bases are still loaded. And ups Ron Franklin. Franklin grounded out and has walked. So 1 out, bases still loaded here for the Colonels in the top of the 5th. They lead 4-1. That's a fastball that'll miss high. 1 ball and no strikes. So Thomason reached on a throwing error. King was hit by a pitch. Ludwig walked. Strikeout of Peralta, and then an error on the ground ball off the bat of Chris. And so 1 runs across without a base hit. And that's a breaking ball in there for a strike. A changeup, 1 ball and 1 strike. So 2 errors in the inning for the Bisons after they played errorless baseball last night in that 7-2 win. And infield's going to come in on the corners now. And that one's going to stay outside for ball 2. So Williams in at first, Wilhoit in at third. Double play depth up the middle still. Bases are loaded. King, your runner at third. Ludwig, your runner at second. And Chris, your runner at first. And again, another chance here for the Colonels to really break this one open. They already lead 4-1. 2-1 pitch. Swings through an off-speed pitch there, 2-2. So when Thompson's been able to land that off-speed pitch, he has really kept him off timing here. It's been very effective. Looks like a changeup he's thrown. I haven't seen that big sweeping curveball that we were describing, but I have a feeling we could see it perhaps in this count or back to the breaking stuff. Let's see how they elect to play it. Here's the 2-2, and he does indeed pull the string and get him. Strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning for Noah Thompson. And that's a big out. So with 2 outs now, everybody can go back to normal position. It does bring up Jalen Jones. Jones is 1 for 2 on the day. He doubled back in the 3rd and struck out swinging in the 4th. So he's batting for the 3rd consecutive inning, hitting .234 on the season. No homers and 9 RBIs. So bases loaded, 2 outs now. Noah Thompson trying to escape this jam. And he throws him a breaking pitch that he fouls off, 0-1. Thompson really could be out of the inning at this point. He got a weak ground ball. He struck out Peralta, got a weak ground ball off the bat of Chris, but it was booted, and then he got the strikeout. So he's done a good job coming in and holding things right where they are. He came into a bases loaded, no out situation. If he can get out of here with 1 run scored, you'd have to feel good about that. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Jones. Again, off-speed pitch, 0-2. So pretty clear what the strategy is here for these Bison's pitchers as they're going after these hitters. And Noah Thompson 1 pitch away from getting out of a really tough spot here. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded, top of the 5th, and Eastern Kentucky leading 4-1. And he got him, strike 3. Great job there by Noah Thompson. 3 strikeouts and a weak ground ball. So tip your hat to that young man. He is going to strand 3 more runners, and that's back-to-back innings where the Colonels have stranded 3. They do score 1 run. They don't have any hits. There were 2 errors in the inning and 3 left on base. And we head to the bottom of the 5th. Your new score, Eastern Kentucky 4 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We go to the bottom half of the fifth inning. Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb 4-1, and it'll be David Coppage, Chaz Bertolani, and Caleb Ketchup to face Reese Brown. Starter for the Colonels has gone all the way. 4 innings pitched, given up 5 hits, only 1 run. It was earned. No walks and 3 strikeouts. And he's thrown just 51 pitches to get through the first 4 innings. So here's Coppage, who was a strikeout victim back in the second, and he hits the first pitch down the line, fair, over the head of Davis. That's going to roll down to the corner. Coppage is making the turn. He's going to head to second. Over to cut it off is Ewell, and a stand-up double for David Coppage. That'll be the 6th hit on the day for the Bisons. And just the second time today they've had the leadoff man on. So Chaz Bertolani will stand in there. Bertolani singled back in the 3rd. And we'll see how the Bisons elect to play it here if they want to take a chance on moving Coppage over. Defensively, Peralta is playing at 3rd, and he's even with the bag there. He is showing bunt. He puts it down. It's a good one out in front of the plate. It's going to be fielded by King. The only play will be to first. And Bertolani does his job with a sacrifice bunt. Moving Coppage over to 3rd base. So nice bunt there from Bertolani. Wasted no time getting that one down. Committed to it. And you like seeing good fundamental baseball play, and that's what you saw right there. We're to the top of the order, and Caleb Ketchup. And Caleb's off to a slow start today. He was called out on strikes in the 1st, and he popped out trying to put a bunt down back in the 3rd. He's got a chance to drive in a run now with 1 out. He looks at a slider inside for strike 1. First baseman Ludwig is up on the edge of the cutout. 3rd baseman Peralta about even with the bag here. And Ketchup tries to check his swing on another slider and can't. So he's quickly in a no-ball 2-strike hole. And again, when Reese Brown has thrown that slider, he's been very effective getting it over the plate. Working quickly, here comes the 0-2. That's a slider that'll miss downstairs. They asked first base umpire John White, and he said, nope, he did not swing at that. So it's a ball and 2 strikes on Ketchup. Maddox Houghton waits on Dak. Running at 3rd base, David Coppage. He started the inning off with a double. Bisons have now out-hit the Colonels 6-4, but they trail 4-1, and that's a slider that he held up on, and they're going to say that he went, and they're going to make him throw the ball to first base. So swing and strike out there for Caleb Coppage, or correction, for Caleb Ketchup, and that's the 2nd out of the inning. And Coach Forehand's going to come over and complain, I believe, that there wasn't a swing. I thought that swing looked very much like the swing before. Previously they said he checked his swing. That time they claimed that he went. We don't have replay here at Dugan Field, so it's the umpire's judgment call, and home plate umpire Luke Weems is not being persuaded at the moment by Coach Forehand's argument. That's 3 strikeouts on the day for Brown, and big strikeout there because now with 2 outs, he's got a chance to get out of the inning as Maddox Houghton stands in there. Maddox lined out to left field in the 1st and singled and reached in the 3rd. Batting .269 on the season, 15 RBIs, 3 home runs for Maddox Houghton. So Coppage, a runner at 3rd base, now with 2 outs. Brown's going to work from the windup, and he starts him with a slider, no surprise, and it's in there for strike 1. We've seen him use that pitch as his introductory opening pitch to most of the hitters he's faced. He's ready to go again, and it's another slider, and Houghton swings through it, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. So again, when Brown's locating that slider, it has been tough on these Bison's hitters. Maddox Houghton's going to take a stroll and at least try to break his rhythm a little bit as Brown is getting the ball and going with it here. No balls, 2 strikes. Another slider, he swung and fouled it out of play. Good job of hitting there by Houghton, who just kind of spoiled that one to keep it off the end of the bat. The count will remain 0-2, and here comes the 0-2 pitch. And again, it's a slider, and he swung through it for strike 3. Big strikeout there, back-to-back strikeouts for Reese Brown after the Bisons started the inning with a double off the bat of Coppage. So no runs on 1 hit. There was 1 runner stranded, no errors in the inning. The Bisons have stranded 4 through the first 5. We're heading to the 6th inning, and your score, Eastern Kentucky 4 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. To the sixth inning we go. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Eastern Kentucky Colonels. 1 run, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Lipscomb Bisons, and Noah Thompson back out on the mound for the Bisons. We're back to the top of the order with Williams, Ewell, and Thomason. Max Williams has singled, struck out, and reached on a walk. He got credited with an RBI as that walk came with the bases loaded. And Thompson starts him off with a pitch just off the plate for ball 1. Terrific relief performance by Thompson in the 5th inning. He came in with bases loaded, nobody out, got a strikeout, got a weak ground ball that wound up being errored and letting a road score, as that breaking ball will be in there for a strike. And then back-to-back strikeouts. So 3 strikeouts in the inning and a weak ground ball that was errored. And so terrific work from Noah Thompson. He's got a 1-1 pitch here that's going to miss down and away 2-1 to Max Williams. Williams now batting .278 on the season. And shows bunt and bunts it foul on that'll make the count 2-2. That was a big sweeping curveball. Again, same 2 teams tomorrow, 1 p.m. for Game 3. It's Sunday Fun Day. It means kids run the bases free after the game. So come on out to the ballpark, bring your family. It's going to be a nice day, temperature in the mid-70s, and watch some good college baseball. Swings through strike 3. 4th strikeout for Thompson. And that was a fastball on the outside that he just blew by him. So 1 down, and that'll bring up Kendall Ewell. And Ewell has lined out to left and grounded out twice. In the 4th inning, he came up with the bases loaded and 2 outs, and Matthew Maldonado got him to ground out weakly to shortstop rather. So Ewell is certainly a dangerous hitter, still batting .388 on the season with 5 homers and 29 ribbies, but 0 for 3 on the day today. And that one's going to get all the way to the backstop. 1 ball, no strikes. Ewell was 2 for 4 last night, so he's 2 for 7 on the weekend. Again, fine sophomore left fielder for Eastern Kentucky. 6'3", 210-pounder, and he's out of Calumet City, Illinois, Marist High School. Here comes the 1-0, and it's a breaking ball, hammered foul. That's going to get over the bullpen. He was way in front of that one, so it'll be a ball and a strike. We mentioned same 2 teams here tomorrow at 1 p.m., and then the Bisons host Middle Tennessee on Tuesday, their midweek game at 6 p.m. here at Dugan Field. Then on the road for 3 at North Alabama. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Thursday at 5, Friday at 5, and Saturday at 1 p.m. due to the Easter holiday next weekend. So a short week turnaround before the next conference series. Fastball is going to miss inside. It'll be 2 balls and 1 strike. Eastern Kentucky does not have a midweek game this week. They're going to go back home and host Central Arkansas next weekend. Also Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 6 p.m. Thursday, 4 p.m. Friday, and noon on Saturday. He swings through that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes. After that, the Colonels have a midweek game against Xavier. Then North Alabama goes in for 3, and they host Morehead State. So they'll have a long homestand of 8 straight games at home for Eastern Kentucky. They've been on the road and played really well on the road, as we said. 9 road wins already this season. They'd be in line to get number 10 here today. That one misses high, and the count's full on Kendall Ewell. The Bisons, after Middle Tennessee, go back on the road. They just came off a 9-game road swing leading into this series, so they're in that stretch of the season where a lot of games away from Dugan Field. The payoff pitch is going to miss inside for ball 4. So first walk of the day for Noah Thompson, and that'll put Kendall Ewell on at first base with 1 out and bring up Logan Thomason. Thomason's had a 2-run home run back in the 1st inning. He walked and then reached on an error and scored a run back in the 5th. So he's been on base 3 times. And batting now with 1 out and a runner at first. Kendall Ewell 6 for 8 in steals on the season. Tied for the team lead in that department. Thompson with a really good pickoff move. He's got a couple of picks already this season, including one last weekend, and he starts Thomason off with a strike, 0-1. So we mentioned the Bisons just coming off a 9-game road swing themselves, having 3 here against Eastern Kentucky, 1 against Middle Tennessee, and then back on the road for 7 in a row. Throw goes to first. After that MTSU game, 3 at North Alabama, a midweek game at Western Kentucky, and then at Jacksonville State. So 7 on the road. Bisons with only 4 home games out of a 20-game stretch here. Here comes the 0-1. That's a breaking ball that'll stay high. It'll be a ball and a strike. After that, the Bisons finished with a pretty good stretch of home games, only 3 more remaining road games after that. So it's that stretch of the season where got to be the road warriors, pack up your suitcase and take your best game on the road. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Won't be made. It'll go to first instead. And Ewell will get back easily. Eastern Kentucky has 4 remaining conference series at home and only 2 on the road. They also have a game at Louisville on May the 17th. Another throw to first. We mentioned that Eastern Kentucky already played some good competition this year. They played at Mercer and lost all 3 to start the season. And they went to Tennessee and lost 7-1. They also played at Kentucky, who they beat 6-3. Runner going, pitches high, throw's going to be to second, and they're going to get him. So another good throw from Bertolani there. Pitch was high, tough to handle. Ewell runs well, but an excellent throw and a good tag put on there. And that's going to be a big second out of the inning as Ewell is caught stealing for out number 2. So 2 down now, bases empty. 2 balls and 1 strike on Thomason. That one's going to be on the outside corner. It's 2-2. So again, you got to tip your cap to Noah Thompson. He has come in and thrown extremely well, really using that off-speed stuff very, very effectively. And he's 1 pitch away from getting out of another inning here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. That one missed high. It was a curveball that got away from him, so it'll be a full count. King waits on deck. Softball action going on back at Draper Diamond here. It's game 2 between North Alabama and Lipscomb, and they are just underway in the first inning. That game's on ESPN Plus if you want to put that on another one of your devices. We hope you'll stay with us while you follow all the Lipscomb action here. Here comes the payoff pitch to Logan Thomason from Noah Thompson, and misses low and inside. 4-4. So that's back-to-back walks from Thompson. First one was erased by the caught stealing of Ewell, but with 2 outs and a man at first, Will King will come in. King has struck out, flied out, and been hit by a pitch. 1 for 6 on the weekend, 0 for 2 here today. And that's a fastball that'll miss inside and low, ball 1. So Eastern Kentucky leading Lipscomb 4-1 after Lipscomb took game 1 last night 7-2. Swung on a hit high in the air towards center field. Houghton appears to be camping under it. He's going back a couple steps. And he's got it for the 3rd out of the inning. So nothing doing here for the Colonels in the 6th inning. They do strand another base runner, and they've stranded a total of 9 now through the first 6 innings. But as we head to the home half of the 6th, your score, Eastern Kentucky 4 and Lipscomb 1. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. Home half of the 6th inning about to get underway. It's Mason Lundgren who's going to stand in there against Reese Brown. He's gone all the way for the Colonels. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. And again, needed just 61 pitches to get through those first 5 innings. And Mason Lundgren leading things off. He is 0 for 2 on the day. Flew out to left field, and he's grounded into a double play. Batting .268 on the season. No homers and 17 RBIs. And he swings through an off-speed there for 0-1. Lundgren, Williams, and Maxwell due up for the Bisons. This game moving right along in the bottom of the 6th inning. Again, fast tempo from Brown. That one's going to miss downstairs for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. We mentioned we played just 2 hours and 16 minutes to get through 9 innings last night. That one also is going to miss downstairs with the slider. 2-1. Seeing a little bit of stretching activity down in the bullpen for the Colonels. We mentioned in his last 2 starts that Reese Brown has gone 7 and 8 innings, respectively, and that one misses high, and it's 3-1. And looking back through my score sheet, I see only one other hitter that he is, correction, 2 hitters that he's gone to a 3-ball count on, and he's going to miss him. I think that hit him. In fact, we'll call that a hit by pitch, and that's going to be a trip to first base for Mason Lundgren. He's going to lead off the inning there. And that's the, well, I guess we won't call it a walk, but first hit by pitch. First time that he's put someone aboard today. So runner at first with Rudy Maxwell, or correction, Malik Williams standing in. He's grounded out and flied out and 2 at-bats today. So Malik looking for his first hit today. 1 for 3 last night in the contest. Batting .360 on the season. And he sees a slider and hits it for a base hit into left field. So Malik quickly jumped on that one. That one hung up a little bit. And the Bisons now have something going here in the bottom of the 6th inning as Lundgren will trot down to second. So first and second, nobody out for Rudy Maxwell. Again, Maxwell homered last night. He's grounded out and struck out here today, 0 for 2, sitting .292 on the season. Does have 5 home runs and 26 RBIs, and he would love to take one swing of the bat and turn this game into a tie game. So tying run at the plate, nobody out. Top of the bottom of the 6th inning with Eastern Kentucky leading 4-1. A little bit more activity down in the Colonel's bullpen now. Again, from our vantage point, tough to get a number, but we do see someone throwing, and that's a slider for strike 1. So that has been an effective pattern for Reese Brown, throwing that slider on the outside part away from these right-handed hitters. Again, just 2 lefties in the lineup for the Bisons. Lundgren was 1, Shields is the other, and he's got Maxwell in an 0-1 count. That's a slider that's going to miss inside. It'll be a ball and a strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Runners first and second, bottom of the 6th. And a slider hit high in the air towards the right side. Right fielder Chris is drifting over, and he's going to get it. There's Lundgren tags, but it's not deep enough to allow him to advance. So Maxwell will be retired for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up the red-hot Trace Wilhoit. He's 2 for 2 on the day. He singled and scored back in the 2nd, and he doubled and was stranded in the 4th. Wilhoit now 4 for 6 on the weekend with a couple RBIs, and so nobody hotter on the Bison's team right now. So he'll bat with runners on first and second and 1 out now. Double play depth up the middle for the Colonels. Outfield straight away and deep. Wind still blowing pretty hard over toward the left field corner, and that's a slider that he swings through, 0-1. Coach Forehand going through a fair number of signs. Mason Lundgren 1 for 3 in steals on the season. So Malik Williams 2 for 4. So 3 stolen bases out of these 2 guys. You wouldn't expect to see them run, but never know. That's hit deep in the air to left field. That's got to be out of here. Gone. Home run. Trace Wilhoit has tied this game for the Bisons. Trace Wilhoit hits his 2nd home run of the season, and it was a big blow. It got out of here in a hurry. That looked like a slider that hung up. He sat right on it and hit it way out of here. I don't think the wind was really going to need to help that one. That one was gone, and Wilhoit, with 1 swing of the bat, has tied this game up at 4-4 as his 3-run home run has brought this one even. And John Shields now will stand in there. 1 out and bases empty. Shields has tripled back in the 2nd and driven in a run. And he's grounded out on the day. So Trace Wilhoit, we mentioned he was the red-hot hitter, the guy you'd want up there, and he did his job. Softly hit to second base. Jones is going to glove it and throw into first. And they're going to retire Shields for the 2nd out of the inning. So Coppage will stand in there. Coppage has struck out and doubled on the day, 1 for 2. 1 for 5 on the weekend is Coppage. He'll bat with 2 outs and the bases empty. So 8 hits now for the Bisons to produce 4 runs. Only 4 hits for the Colonels, but they have 4 runs, and a lot of that's had to do with a number of walks that have been issued. And that's a slider that's going to miss outside, and it'll be 1 ball and no strikes. So Trace Wilhoit stays red hot and ties this game up 4-4 in the bottom of the 6th inning. That's a slider that'll miss downstairs as well. 2 balls and no strikes. Again, Lundgren was led off the inning, was hit by a pitch. Malik Williams hit a single. Maxwell flew out, and then Wilhoit hit a bomb out of here. One that got out in a hurry, and that's hit off the end of the bat by Coppage towards first base. Ludwig is going to glove it and retire it unassisted for the 3rd out of the inning. But it's a productive one for the Bisons. They scored 3 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and no one left on base, and we've played 6 innings and a brand new score. Lipscomb 4 and Eastern Kentucky 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. To the top of the 7th we go. Brand new ball game, 4-4. Lipscomb and Eastern Kentucky tied, and it will be Ludwig, Peralta, and Chris, 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the Colonels against Noah Thompson. He has been terrific in relief since he has come on. 2 full innings pitched, hasn't allowed a hit. He's walked 2 but struck out 4. Again, came on in a very tough bases-loaded situation in the 5th. Got a strikeout, a weak ground ball that was errored, and then 2 more strikeouts. And in the 6th, he had a strikeout, back-to-back walks, but a man caught stealing, and then a fly ball out. So Thompson in his 3rd inning of work, and Ludwig stands in to start things off for the Colonels, and he looks at a fastball down, and that got Bertolani, I think, on the foot or ankle. And so home plate umpire Luke Weems will take a stroll out to the mound to give Chaz a chance to shake that one off a bit. Ludwig has flied out to center, singled and scored a run in the 4th, and walked in the 5th. So he's been on base twice today. 1 for 5 on the weekend, and they're going to give Chaz Bertolani a minute here to try to shake this one off. Again, tough being back behind the plate, always a lot of punishment, and that one seemed to get him on the foot or ankle area, and I think they're going to ask if they want trainer Clint Woods to come out and look at him, and Chaz is going to say, nope, I'll need some Advil later on, but we'll stick with it for now. So 1 ball, no strike count on Ludwig as Noah Thompson gets set to deliver. That's a curveball on the outside corner for a strike, ball and a strike. 4-4, top of the 7th. The Colonels struck first. They got 2 runs in the 1st inning and 1 in the 4th. The Bisons added 1 in the 2nd and 3 on the 3-run homer in the bottom of the 6th. That's how we've gotten to where we are. So good ball game between these two. Curveball's going to stay outside there for 2 balls and 1 strike. Same 2 teams tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central start. Again, Eastern Kentucky coming in at 21-9, Lipscomb at 16-14 on the season. That one is going to catch the inside corner, 2-2. So Thompson has battled back here against Ludwig, and we'll see if he goes off speed again. He's been very effective using that off-speed pitch, either a changeup or a curveball against these Colonels hitters. And we'll see what he deals here. It is a curveball. It's going to stay high, and it'll be 3-2. Peralta waits on deck. So good battle between these 2 teams. Again, Eastern Kentucky came in red hot, but Lipscomb has been playing better. They swept Bellarmine last weekend and played #1 ranked UT, a tough game on Tuesday, and that's going to miss inside for ball 4. So that'll be 3rd walk for Noah Thompson. He had back-to-back walks in the 6th. And that'll bring up Santiago Peralta. Peralta came in as a replacement. If you just joined us late, Connor Davis started at 3rd base. He was hit in the face by a pitch back in the 2nd inning and had to leave the game. So Peralta came in and ran for him, was immediately cut down, caught stealing. And since then, he struck out twice swinging. So he is 0 for 2 on the day, and I'd have to believe that he is likely to try to lay a bunt down here. I think the Bisons are thinking along those lines also. Third baseman Wilhoit, even with a bag at third, is probably going to cheat a couple more steps. And he is not showing bunt, as Thompson will chase him back at first. Ludwig on the season, no stolen base attempts. And again, Thompson with a really good move. He's got a very strong hesitation move and is tough on runners over there, so you would think he's not likely to run. That's going to be a fastball that catches the inside corner, 0-1. He did not show bunt there. So no balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Runner at first. Throws again going to go to first. Peralta again was not showing bunt. Sometimes those throws to first in this situation are really to let the defense have a chance to see if he seems to show bunt, but if he's planning it, he was definitely holding it. Not squaring, and he takes that breaking ball down for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. So a little surprised. I thought we might try to see him lay a bunt down here, but obviously Coach Prothro and his staff know his hitters far, far better than we do. And at this point, they're letting Peralta swing away. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, and Ludwig, your runner at first. And he does swing through that one, strike 2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Chris rating on deck. And he swings through that one, strike 3. Third time that Peralta has gone down on strikes, and that's the 5th strikeout for Noah Thompson, and it's the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Roderick Chris. He struck out back in the 2nd. He walked and was stranded in the 4th, and reached on an error and was stranded in the 5th. So he's been on base a couple times, but doesn't have a base hit. 0 for 6 on the weekend for Chris. Batting .281 on the season, though, so a good hitter. So 1 out, runner at first, top of the 7th. Eastern Kentucky and Lipscomb tied at 4, and that's a curveball that'll stay high for ball 1. Again, Eastern Kentucky, not a team that steals a lot of bases. And Ludwig without a stolen base attempt on the season, and Ludwig, and with the left-hander Thompson, not a lot of lead, and that's another breaking ball that he swings through, a ball and a strike. Eastern Kentucky's had a hard time with these breaking balls from the Bison's pitching staff today. When they've been able to keep them in the strike zone, they have really tied them up here. There's the 1-1, and he swings and hits that one foul out of play. It'll be a ball and 2 strikes. Noah Thompson working on 48 pitches here at 2 1/3 innings. Those scrambling around down in the Bison's bullpen, and it looks like they do have a right-hander throwing, but I can't quite make a number out. We'll keep an eye on that, and that's a curveball. And did he go? Yes, he did. First base umpire John White says that is a strikeout, and that is back-to-back strikeouts from Noah Thompson. Big pitch there. Breaking pitch off the outside corner, and that is 2 outs now. And Ron Franklin will come in, and Franklin has grounded out, walked, and struck out on the day. And he'll bat with 2 outs and a runner at first. So leadoff walk and back-to-back strikeouts by Noah Thompson. 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 2 2/3 inning of work for the senior left-hander Noah Thompson out of Louisville, Kentucky. And he tries to check his swing and has one of those, excuse me, foul balls that goes off to the right side. So it'll be no balls and 1 strike. And again, he swings and fouls that one back to the string, 0-2. For those of you that are tracking a certain golf tournament in Augusta, 3rd round underway. Scotty Scheffler still leading 11 under par rather. He's got a 6-stroke lead on Smith, who's behind him, and he's 3 under for his round today. He's on the 9th hole at present. So Scotty Scheffler still dominating the Masters. Here comes the 0-2, swung on and hit in the air towards center field. Maddox Houghton took a couple steps in. Now he's going to go back, and he'll glove it for the 3rd out of the inning. So the leadoff walk does not do any damage, as the Colonels cannot score here in the top of the 7th. They wind up stranding another base runner, and that is 10 on the day that they've stranded, but nothing doing in the top of the 7th. We head to the bottom of the 7th. It's 7th inning stretch time. We invite you to get up and move around wherever you are. Bisons will be batting with the score Lipscomb 4 and Eastern Kentucky 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. Seventh inning stretch is in the books. We head to the bottom of the seventh. Lipscomb and Eastern Kentucky are tied at 4, and Chaz Bertolani is going to lead things off for the Bisons. Bertolani having a good day at the plate. He's got a single and put out a beautiful sacrifice bunt back in the 5th inning. And he'll lead things off for the Bisons here against Reese Brown. Brown has been terrific on the mound. He hung a slider to Trace Wilhoit in the last inning, gave up a 3-run homer, but he's been tough outside of that. This one's hit high in the air to the right side. Getting under it is Chris in right field, and they will retire Bertolani for the first out of the inning. So Brown's now gone 6 1/3. He's given up 8 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. And again, solid start for Brown here. Back to the top of the lineup, and he's been very tough on Caleb Ketchup today. He struck him out twice, once swinging, once looking, and then he popped out trying to put a bunt down. So Ketchup looking to get untracked. He's 1 for 7 on the weekend. Batting .247 on the season, and that slider is going to be on the outside corner for strike 1. Top of the order Ketchup. Maddox Houghton is on deck. 4 runs, 8 hit, 2 errors for the Bisons. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Eastern Kentucky Colonels, and that's a slider that will also get in there for strike 2. That one started right at his body and then broke over the plate. So Brown does not appear to be losing any of his stuff. He's throwing 76 pitches here in the 7th inning, so he has been very, very effective keeping the ball right around the plate. That one will miss outside. It'll be a ball and 2 strikes. I've only got him going to a 3-ball count on two hitters, I believe, all day. So he has really filled up the strike zone, has sophomore Reese Brown. And that's hit for a base hit into left field. Ketchup with a good piece of hitting. He got that slider a little bit over the plate, and Caleb reached out and poked it into left field for a base hit. That'll be the 9th hit of the day for the Bisons. And it'll bring up Maddox Houghton, the center fielder. And Maddox has one of those base hits. He's singled back in the 3rd. He's also lined out to left field on a fine running catch by Ewell. And he struck out swinging. So Ketchup on at first. Good speed. He leads the team 15 steals in 16 attempts. Does Caleb Ketchup. And that's going to miss low for ball 1. Ketchup's been hitting .467 in the last 5 games coming into the weekend. 8 of 8 in stolen bases. An on-base percentage of .600. So he has really improved his offense, and that's a slider that's going to stay high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes now to Maddox Houghton. And again, some activity down in the Colonel's bullpen. A couple of righties throwing, it appears. Ketchup with a solid but not extensive lead. He bluffs a start, and that's going to be high and inside for ball 3. Again, only the 3rd 3-ball count of the day for Reese Brown. He has really been effective. You wonder if he may be running out of steam a little bit. He's at 80 pitches now. As we said, he's pitched in the last 2 outings into the 7th and the 8th inning. And that's a call strike. 3-1. Lundgren waits on deck. Houghton getting the signs from Coach Jeff Forehand. We'll see if they might want to elect to put the runner in motion here. That's Caleb Ketchup running at first with 1 out. He is not going, and that's inside for ball 4. And that'll be the first walk of the day. He's got one hit by pitch, but first walk of the day for Reese Brown. And that'll put runners on first and second with one out for Mason Lundgren. Lundgren was the recipient of that hit by pitch back in the sixth. He's also grounded into a double play and flied out, but I think that may be the end of the day for Reese Brown, and it is. He's shaking hands. But outstanding job by Reese Brown. You got to tip your cap to the sophomore right-hander who did a good job. But as they make a call to the bullpen, we'll step aside. Your score, Lipscomb 4 and Eastern Kentucky 4. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we come back. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. The new pitcher for the Colonels is junior left-hander Chris Hammond, a 6-foot-tall, 155-pounder out of Washington, D.C., previously played at Harford Community College. Hammond making his 10th appearance on the season. He's worked 7 1/3 innings, given up 7 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned, 12 strikeouts, 7 walks. No record and an ERA of 8.59. Opponents batting .250 against Chris Hammond. And he's going to face the left-hander Mason Lundgren. One of 2 lefty bats in the lineup for the Bisons as Coach Prothro elects to go lefty-lefty here with this matchup. And our situation is runners at first and second, 1 out. Bertolani flew out to start the inning. And then a base hit from Ketchup and a walk to Maddox Houghton. So runners first and second with 1 out and Lundgren standing in. A good speed on the bases. 15 steals for Ketchup and 12 for Houghton. And definitely have to keep an eye on that. And they are indeed running. And the throw is going to go down to second, and they're going to get him. So they throw to second. And Houghton didn't appear to have quite as good a jump as Ketchup did. Ketchup easily stole that bag at third. Houghton was a little sluggish getting off, and he is gunned down at second with a throw from King. Coach Forehand not enamored of the call, but again, no replay here that we can use. So it'll be 2 outs now and a runner at third base as Ketchup steals third, but Houghton is caught stealing. That's the first time all season that Maddox Houghton has been caught stealing. He'll now be 12 for 13. Coach Forehand and Randy Hunley are still discussing that. I think Coach Forehand had a different interpretation of the outcome, but it's going to be the second out of the inning. As I said, there's no replay here, and so hard to believe that there would be an opportunity to overturn this in any way unless they're discussing interference or some other aspect of the play. Coach Chris Prothro has also come out to ask something of the home plate umpire. I'm not sure what he's asking about, but the count's going to be 1 ball and no strikes on Mason Lundgren. It was a ball. We've seen that a lot when the Bisons have a couple guys on running on that first pitch. So go from 2 on and 1 out now to 1 on and 2 outs and a 1-0 count, and that one misses off the plate and low. 2 balls and no strikes. Again, on the season, 12 strikeouts and 7 walks in 7 2/3 innings for Hammond. So he has been prone to give up some bases on balls, and he's fallen behind Lundgren 2-0, and Ketchup is dancing off third, and that's going to be on the outside corner for a strike, 2-1, like a fastball there. Third baseman Peralta is sort of following him down the line, but again, with a lefty, it's a tough move to try to spin around and pick him off. So Ketchup will continue to try to disrupt the rhythm of the pitcher who's working from the stretch. He fakes a start again. That's a breaking ball that'll be blocked nicely by King, but it'll be 3 balls and 1 strike on Lundgren with Malik Williams waiting on deck. So 2 outs and a 3-ball, 1 strike count. Runner at third base. We're at a 4-4 game in the bottom of the 7th, and the 3-1 pitch, and he swung through that one 3-2. He was in front of it. It looked like a fastball. And looks like Hammond is going to ask for another ball here. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Go-ahead run is just 90 feet away at third base for Mason Lundgren. And the payoff pitch, he swings and fouls it straight back to the screen. Staying alive at a high pitch, looked like a fastball that he just missed. So 3 balls, 2 strikes will remain the count. Malik Williams on deck. We're playing in the home half of the 7th inning, and it's 4-4. The Bisons have out-hit the Colonels 9-4. But each team has claimed 4 runs on the day. Here comes the payoff, and he misses way outside, ball 4. So Mason Lundgren will trot down to first base, and that'll give Malik Williams a chance to swing. Malik, it's 1 for 3 on the day. He's got a single and a fly out to left field and a ground out to second base, but it looks like we're going to have another pitching change as, again, they elect to go lefty-lefty, righty-righty matchup. So while we change pitchers, once again, we will step aside. We're 4-4 in the bottom of the 7th inning, and when we come back, we'll tell you about the new pitcher. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. The new pitcher for Eastern Kentucky is junior right-hander Anthony Vargas, a 6'2", 165-pounder out of the Bronx, New York, transfer from Monroe College. Vargas making his 12th appearance on the season. He's pitched in relief exclusively, 9 1/3 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, 3 earned, 15 strikeouts, and 8 walks. Opponents batting just .211 against him. Does have a record of 1 win, no loss, and a 2.89 ERA. So Vargas on in relief of Hammond, and Malik Williams is going to stand in. Again, 2 on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th. We got a tie baseball game as Eastern Kentucky and Lipscomb are 4-4. Catch up your runner at third with really good speed. Lundgren at first base, 1 for 3 on the season in steals. Again, I wouldn't expect to see him going, and he starts off with a fastball high to Malik Williams, 1 ball, no strikes. Rudy Maxwell rates on deck if Malik can extend this inning. Again, Williams batting .365 on the season, leads the Bisons with 32 RBIs, also has 5 home runs. They've given him a pretty steady dose of breaking balls throughout the weekend. We'll see how they elect to pitch him here. He started him with a fastball there, and that's a breaking ball that'll stay inside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes on Malik Williams. Again, Reese Brown started this inning, gave up a base hit and a walk, and he was relieved by Hammond. Actually, correction, he got a fly out of Bertolani to start the inning, and then there was a caught stealing in there as well. So with 2 outs, Williams swings through an off-speed pitch there, 2-1. Pulled the string on him and threw a changeup on 2-0. Again, that's one of the characteristics of a good pitcher. You often think as a hitter sitting in that hitter's count 2-0, 3-1 that you're going to get a fastball, and instead he pulled the string on a changeup and had him in front of it. So 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 outs. Lundgren running at first, Ketchup running at third. Anthony Vargas gets set to deal to Malik Williams, and he swings and hits it into center field for a base hit. Here comes Ketchup with a go-ahead run, and the Bisons lead 5-4. RBI base hit from Malik Williams. That will give him 33 RBIs on the season. That looked like a slider that hung up there. And Williams did a good job. Didn't try to do too much with it. Didn't try to pull it too far. He hit it right back up the middle, and the Bisons have taken a 5-4 lead. 10th base hit of the day for the Bisons. And Rudy Maxwell will bat now with 2 outs and 2 on. Rudy's grounded out, struck out, and flied out 0 for 3 on the day after going 2 for 3 last night with 3 RBIs, a home run, a couple runs scored. So Rudy is due for a breakout here, and he'd love to have a chance to extend this lead. Lipscomb 5, Eastern Kentucky 4 in the bottom of the 7th. 2 outs. And he throws a slider that stays down for ball 1. Second baseman Jones shifted up the middle. He's playing almost directly even with the bag, as you probably see on your screen there. Otherwise, the defensive alignment is pretty straight away. We have seen some teams shift Rudy all the way over to the left side. But that's how Eastern Kentucky is set to defend him. And he throws a fastball off the plate, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. The last at-bat against Malik Williams, he came back with a changeup in this count. We'll see what he does here with Rudy Maxwell. Lundgren running at second, Malik Williams running at first with 2 outs. And he throws a breaking ball, but it stays down. King does a nice job, and it's 3-0. Again, Vargas came in with a good ratio, 15 strikeouts and 8 walks in 9 innings on the season, but he's struggling to command the zone here a little bit in his relief appearance. Third pitcher of the inning with Brown starting it, then Hammond facing one batter and Vargas in for his second hitter. And we'll see if they turn Maxwell loose on the 3-0 here. And I hit him. So obviously not what he was looking to do on a 3-0 pitch as he loads the bases by hitting Maxwell, and I think that's going to be it for Vargas as Coach Prothero is already on his way to the mound. So we're going to have our 4th pitcher of the inning for Eastern Kentucky, and so we'll step aside. Once again, your new score, Lipscomb 5, Eastern Kentucky 4, and you're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. The new pitcher for the Colonels is sophomore left-hander Bryce Travis, 6-foot-tall, 195-pounder out of Richmond, Kentucky. He went to Madison Central High School. Travis is making his 9th appearance on the season. He does have 1 start, 2-win, 1-loss record, 12.127 ERA, 7 1/3 innings, 10 hits, 10 run, 10 earned, 12 strikeouts, 6 walks. Opponents batting .333 against the left-hander Bryce Travis, and he faces the red-hot Trace Wilhoit, who has singled, doubled, and homered. He's a triple away from hitting for the cycle today. And he'll start him off with a breaking ball that'll miss inside and low. Wilhoit Singleton scored in the second, Doubleton was stranded in the fourth, and then hit a three-run home run in the sixth that tied it up. And nobody hotter for the Bisons than Trace Wilhoit. He is seeing it well today. Here comes the 1-0. Fastball misses down, 2-0. Wilhoit up to 265 on the season. Team leading 7 home runs and 19 RBIs. And so probably the guy you'd like to have up there in this situation. Runners first and second. Williams running at second. Maxwell running at first. And that's a fastball that's going to also miss off the plate and low. So 3 straight balls to Wilhoit. John Shields waiting on deck. They may be, in effect, almost pitching around Trace a little bit. As hot as he's been and as well as he's swinging it, I'm sure they're not apt to come in and challenge him. And, in fact, 4 straight balls are going to give him a base on balls. So Malik Williams will jog over to third, Maxwell to second, and Trace Wilhoit on for the 4th time today at first base. And the bases are juiced for John Shields. John tripled and drove in a run in the second. He grounded out both in the 4th and the 6th. And he bats now with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Lipscomb 5, Eastern Kentucky, or correction, Lipscomb 6, Eastern Kentucky 4. And that one's going to be in there for a strike. That one misses off the plate for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two runs in here in the inning, and he swings and hits this one high in the air off to the left side. I think it's going to stay in play. Peralta's over by the dugout, and he does glove it. So big pitch there as he gets Shields to foul out to third base for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Bisons will leave the bases loaded, but they do pick up 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors, and those 3 left on base give them 7 left on base for the day. So new score as we finish our 7th inning. Your new score is Eastern Kentucky 6 and Lipscomb 6, Eastern Kentucky 4. Let's go with that. Lipscomb 6, Eastern Kentucky 4. We'll head to the 8th inning when we come back. You're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. To the top of the 8th inning we go. 6 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors for Lipscomb. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Eastern Kentucky. And new pitcher on the mound is sophomore right-hander Tyler Legier. He's out of Madison, Alabama, 6 foot tall, 170-pound right-hander. He is making his 11th appearance on the season. He's worked 12 innings, given up 11 hits, 7 runs, 4 earned, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. He's got a record of no win, 1 loss, and an ERA of 3.00. An opponent's batting .256 against Legier. So he comes on as the 4th Bison's pitcher of the day. Colin Witzke started, went 3 2/3. Matthew Maldonado a 1/3 of an inning, and Noah Thompson 3 big innings of relief. Didn't give up any hits or runs. Walked 3, struck out 6, and now Tyler Legier is on, trying to keep this one right where it is, and he faces Jalen Jones to lead things off. And he starts him off with a ball that misses low, ball 1. Jones doubled back in the 3rd and has struck out swinging twice, so 1 for 3 on the day. 1 for 6 on the weekend is Jalen Jones. The 9th place hitter, top of the order, will be next, and he swings and fouls that one off the right side, a ball and a strike. So again, the Colonels jumped out and put 2 on in the first. The Bisons got 1 in the bottom of the second, 1 more in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth. Pushed Eastern's lead to 4-1, and then 3 in the bottom of the sixth and 2 in the bottom of the seventh. And Lipscomb has fought back to claim a 6-4 lead, and he swings and hits that one to the right side. Malik Williams gloves it, throws over to first. He's going to throw by Legier. Tough play there. So Malik Williams had to go to his right, gloved it, going away from the bag, tried to spin and throw to Legier, but he couldn't come up with it, and we'll see how they score that one. As Jones is going to reach. Chaz Bertolani was down there backing that one up, the catcher for the Bisons, and he prevented an extra base. So one of those things you don't always see in the box score, but good hustle there by Chaz Bertolani. They're going to rule that as a base hit, and that'll put Jones on at first. And with the left-handed swinging Max Williams coming in, they're going to go to the bullpen. So once again, we'll step aside. Your score, Lipscomb 6, Eastern Kentucky 4. And you're watching Lipscomb Bisons Baseball on YouTube Live. The fifth Bison's pitcher of the day is left-hander Hayden Frank, the freshman out of Riceville, Tennessee. Played at McMinn County High School. He's 6'5", 186. Frank is making his 11th appearance on the season as well. He's worked 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. No record, and a 3.18 ERA for Hayden Frank. And he's facing the top of the order, the left-handed swinging Max Williams. Williams singled and scored back in the first, struck out in the third, walked and got an RBI in the fourth, and then struck out in the sixth. Though runner at first is Jalen Jones. He's there via soft base hit, and that misses inside and high, ball 1. On the season, Jones is 7 out of 9 on stolen bases, so he has the most steals of anybody in the starting lineup for the Colonels, and that one's going to be in there for a strike, a ball and a strike. One advantage of having the lefty Frank on the mound. A little bit of tougher time getting a lead and getting a jump out there. So 1 ball, 1 strike. He throws a breaking pitch for the strike as well. Beauty there. Curveball in the outside corner. And he's got Williams down 1-2. Kendall Ewell on deck. Lipscomb leading 6-4 as we play in the top of the 8th inning here. Swings and hits this on the ground to second. Might be 2. Coppage over to short for 1. Back to first. And he got a double play off the bat of Max Williams. The 4-6-3 double play is going to get the second out of the inning. And a good job there by Frank. And he comes in and does his job. In fact, more than his job. He got the 2-for-1 special there. And so Frank is going to step aside, and we're going to have a new pitcher coming in. And this looks like the right-hander Patrick Williams. And we'll keep it right here for you as we make that change. What we'll do, we'll get a check of the scoreboard around the area and the ASUN today. We mentioned in game 1, Bellarmine defeated North Alabama 18-3, and in the second game, Bellarmine defeated North Alabama 17-3. So 35 runs today in Bellarmine in 2 games. An impressive doubleheader sweep by the Knights of Bellarmine, and they really swung it today against North Alabama, picking up a pair of wins. North Florida has beaten Jacksonville 5-3. Liberty is leading Florida Gulf Coast 4-2 in the bottom of the 5th. Central Arkansas leading Jacksonville State 3-0 in the bottom of the 2nd. Kennesaw State and Stetson get underway at 5:30. Other area teams in action. Number 1 ranked Tennessee hosts Missouri at 5 p.m. Belmont is leading Tennessee Tech 4-1 in the top of the 8th, and Austin Peay leading Tennessee Martin 6-0 in the top of the 6th inning. Some other Bison's opponents from the season. Louisville, ranked 12th in the country, has beaten North Carolina 9-8. That one took 10 innings in today's action. And Georgia is trailing South Carolina 5-2 in the top of the 5th. Your new to Bison's pitcher is sophomore right-hander Patrick Williams. 6'8", 235-pounder out of Cleveland, Tennessee. He's making his 8th appearance on the season. Worked 10 innings, given up 8 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned, 4 walks and 10 strikeouts. Opponents batting just .235 against him. No record in a 5.40 ERA. So Patrick Williams will come on as the 6th Bison's pitcher of the day. And the 3rd one in this inning as Tyler Legier gave up a soft ground ball to Jalen Jones that was an infield hit, and then Hayden Frank got a double play ball off the bat of Max Williams. So 2 outs, and the dangerous Kendall Ewell is batting, and Ewell has been relatively quiet by his standards today. He lined out in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd and the 4th, and reached on a walk and was caught stealing in the 6th. So 0 for 3 on the day and only been on base 1 time, and he bats with 2 outs and the base is empty. And Patrick Williams will start him off with a fastball that'll stay high for ball 1. Ewell still batting .388 on the season. He has 5 homers and 29 RBIs. Those 5 homers tie for the club lead for the Colonels. But 2 outs and bases empty in the top of the 8th inning. And that's a breaking ball that'll miss outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Still a couple of arms throwing down in the Bison's bullpen. We'd have to assume that we might see Trey Nordman today. We didn't see him last night. The Bison's closer likely might be called upon as we get to the 9th inning here today. But we got 1 more out to get to that point. And Patrick Williams has a 2-0 count on Kendall Ewell. And he hits this high in the air to very deep center field. Going back to the warning track is Maddox Houghton, and he gloves it for the 3rd out of the inning. So Ewell hit that well, but he got under it. And Patrick Williams comes in and does his job recording the 3rd out of the inning. So nothing doing for the Colonels here in the top of the 8th. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Your score, Lipscomb 6 and Eastern Kentucky 4. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. We head to the home half of the 8th inning, and if you haven't been out to Dugan Field lately, there's a new tradition going on as they head to the bottom of the 8th. Stroke Man for Billy Squire playing, and crowd really getting into it along with the home dugout. And they're hoping there'll be a few strokes this inning for the Bisons. Leading off with David Coppage. Coppage has struck out, doubled, and grounded out on the day, so 1 for 3. And he swings and hammers this one foul, way out of here. That's long gone, but he got in front of that one. It'll be a loud and long strike 1. Bryce Travis still on the mound. He came on in relief in the 7th. Walked a man and got a fly ball out. And he throws a breaking pitch that misses just off the plate. It'll be 1 ball and 1 strike. So Travis on, the 4th pitcher of the day for the Colonels. Reese Brown with an outstanding start. And Coppage fouls that one back and out of play. And the count will be a ball and 2 strikes. Brown went 6 1/3, was charged with 5 runs, but really pitched better than that. And 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. 3rd of an inning for Hammond. Two batters faced for Vargas, and now Travis is on. And hit to the right side, fairly deep, but going back over is Chris, and he's going to be at the warning track, and he'll glove it there for the first out of the inning. So Coppage hit that one hard the other way. Wind's blowing away from there, so it might have held it up a little bit, but it'll be a first out of the inning and bring up Chaz Bertolani. And Chaz has had a good day. He's singled back in the third, put down a beautiful sacrifice bunt in the fifth, and then flew out to right field in the seventh. Bisons have 10 hits on the day. They've committed 2 errors. The Colonels have just 5 hits, but they have been aided by some walks from the Bison's pitching staff. That one's through there for a strike. 8 walks on the day for the Bisons, 11 strikeouts for the pitchers. I know that'll be a point of emphasis for the coaching staff. Bertolani hits this one foul and out of play to the right side, and he's down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. So once again, all these Eastern Kentucky pitchers, they get the ball and they're ready to go. You can see that that's a point of emphasis for their staff, is really that tempo. And you know their fielders enjoy playing behind them when they have that kind of rhythm. Nothing worse than a game that drags along, and they're certainly not going to drag it down from the mound. That's a curveball that'll stay outside, a ball and 2 strikes. Second baseman Jones shifted pretty far over in the hole, as Bertolani frequently hits it that way. Otherwise, the defensive alignment's pretty standard here. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, and he swings through a breaking pitch there. That was a beauty. Strikeout by Travis, and that'll be his first strikeout. Second out of the inning, and we're back to the top of the order in Caleb Ketchup. Ketchup got things going for the Bisons back in the 7th as he singled, stole a base, and came home on the RBI base hit from Malik Williams. Ketchup 1 for 4 on the day and has scored a run. That misses down and in for ball 1. He's now hitting .255 on the season. 2 homers and 7 RBIs. Shows bunt, drops it down towards the third base line. Is gloved by Peralta. Throws, not in time. That's going to be a base hit. Beautiful bunt there off the bat of Caleb Ketchup. Peralta did about all he could. He's playing back, of course, to defend the line. He came in and gloved it, but that's going to be a bunt base hit for Caleb Ketchup. Eleven hits on the day now for the Bisons, and Maddox Houghton stands in there. He has lined out to left, singled, struck out, and walked, and was caught stealing back in the 7th inning. So 1 for 3 on the day for Maddox, .267 on the season. That's a fastball that'll miss high, ball 1. Again, Caleb Ketchup 15 out of 16 in steals on the season, and he's over at first base with 2 outs. Bluffs a jab step. He's not going, and that one's going to miss inside for ball 2. So you'd have to think if he's running, it'd be the so-called first move steal here, which means with a left-handed pitcher that he's really guessing that he's going to go home and he takes off. If he guesses wrong, then he's likely to get picked off, but if he guesses right, then he has a chance to steal a bag here and get into scoring position with 2 outs, and we'll see how they elect to play it. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That's a fastball that'll catch the inside corner for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike to Maddox Houghton. With Mason Lundgren waiting on deck as the Bisons bat here in the bottom of the 8th. They're leading Eastern Kentucky 6-4. They won game 1 last night 7-2, and they're trying to take this series here with what would be a big win. They can hold on to this lead, and that's going to miss downstairs ball 3. Left-handed swinging Mason Lundgren is on deck. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Catch up your runner at first. He's there via the bunt single that he just put down. Not running, and that's going to be inside for ball 4. So Maddox Houghton walks for the 2nd time today, and he'll be on at first. Ketchup to second, and Lundgren is up. Mason has flied out to left, grounded into a double play, been hit by a pitch and walked. So he's been on base twice. He's 0 for 2 on the day, hitting .268 on the season. Still a little bit of activity in the Colonel's bullpen, but looks like they're going to stick with Bryce Travis here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Again, they've used 4 pitchers today. They used 3 last night, so still going to have some depth in that bullpen for a Sunday game. That's a slider that's going to miss outside ball 1. Next door at the Draper Diamond, game 2, North Alabama leading Lipscomb 7-2 at the end of the 3rd inning. College softball action. And the 1-0 way outside, 2-0. Shortstop Thomason almost behind the bag at second, as you can probably see. Jones pulled way over in the hole. And we're going to have a visit out to the mound from the catcher, Will King. That may be to allow a little time for the bullpen to continue to get untracked. do have a visit limit of 6 visits per game. That's a combination between the coaching staff and the catchers, so you'll see the umpires keeping track of those visits and signaling to the dugout how many visits they've had. After you reach those 6 visits, then with any visit, you have to have a pitching change, and that's 5 visits noted there of the umpire if you saw him flash up to the press box. So one of those rules to kind of help the pace of play, along with the pitch clock, which we mentioned, which is in play with runners on base, a 20-second pitch clock, time being kept by the third base umpire. Here comes the 2-0 pitch to Mason Lundgren. That's going to miss inside for ball 3. So Travis struggling with his control a little bit here. He just walked Houghton, and he's behind Lundgren 3-0, and you'd have to think that Lundgren probably would take a pitch here. They'd love to get the dangerous Malik Williams up there with a chance to swing and the bases juiced. 3 balls, no strikes. He's taking all the way, and it's a strike on the inside corner, 3-1. Looks like that Travis has a little bit of arm side run on that fastball. He's really, everything he throws is moving some. Throws from a 3/4 slot, and that's been running in on the left-hander Lundgren there. So 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Ketchup running at second, Houghton running at first. Good speed on the bases. And that's going to miss inside for ball 4. So back-to-back walks for the Bisons after the single by Ketchup. And I think we're going to have a call to the bullpen here. So as we do, we'll remind you about our schedule. Once again, same 2 teams tomorrow. It'll be a 1 p.m. Central start time for Game 3 between Lipscomb and Eastern Kentucky. After that ball game Tuesday night, the Bisons will host Middle Tennessee State University. That's a 6 p.m. Central Time start here at Dugan Field. And then the Bisons on the road next weekend. 3 games, Thursday at 5 p.m., Friday at 5 p.m., and Saturday 1 p.m., all against North Alabama. So the Bisons of the conference series on the road at North Alabama Thursday, Friday, Saturday due to the Easter holiday. The Colonels will go back home. There's no midweek game, but they'll host Central Arkansas next weekend. Thursday's game 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. start on Saturday, or Friday, correction, and 12 noon start on Saturday. So actually those times are local time, 6 p.m. local time Thursday, 4 p.m. Friday, and noon on Saturday. So no midweek action this week for the Colonels as they head back home. The new pitcher is number 29, right-hander Brock Blanton. He is a freshman out of Bainbridge, Ohio, 6'4", 205 pounds. He went to Paint Valley High School. Blanton is making his 6th appearance on the season. He's worked 5 2/3 innings, given up 12 hits, 11 runs, 9 earned, 6 walks, 6 strikeouts. Opponent's batting .429 against him, and he is no record in an ERA of 14.29. So Brock Blanton, the right-hander, is going to be out there throwing. And once again, he'll be the 5th pitcher of the day, used 6 1/3 innings out of the starter Brown for Eastern Kentucky. Hammond went 1/3 of an inning. Vargas faced 2 batters, didn't record an out. Travis 1 inning, and now Blanton on. And Malik Williams is going to stand in there with the bases loaded. You've got Caleb Ketchup running at 3rd, Maddox Houghton at 2nd, and Mason Lundgren at 1st. And Malik Williams comes in batting .371 on the season, 5 home runs and 33 RBIs. Gets a slider in there for a strike, 0-1. Malik grounded out in the 2nd, flew out in the 4th, hit a single and scored in the 6th, and singled and drove in a run in the 7th. So he's 2 for 4 on the day with an RBI, and he would love to extend the Bison's lead. That one's going to be a fastball that'll miss outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Outfield straightaway and deep, infield in normal position with the 3rd baseman Peralta guarding the line. Here comes the 1-1 hit towards 3rd. Peralta jumps up. He's going to throw to 2nd, and it is in time. So nice play there by Peralta as he'll record that ground out on a 5-4 fielder's choice for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Bisons, for the 2nd inning in a row, will strand the bases full. They've now stranded a total of 10 on the day, and they don't score in the bottom of the 8th inning. But we're headed to the 9th, and Lipscomb is clinging to a 6-4 lead We'll be back to tell you all about that when we return. You're watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball on YouTube Live. On to close things out for the Bisons is their sophomore closer, Trey Nordeman. Nordeman is a 6'5", 220-pounder out of Lansing, Michigan, a transfer from Howard College. And the hard-throwing right-hander is on for his 13th appearance on the season, which leads the club. He's worked 10 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, walked 16 and struck out 20 in those 10 2/3 innings. Opponent's batting just 171 against him. He's got a record of 1 win, no losses. He's got 4 saves on the season, an ERA of 4.22. So Trey Nordman comes on. He threw an inning on Tuesday night at Tennessee, gave up 1 hit, 1 run. It was earned. He walked 2 and struck out 1. Prior to that, he last pitched back on April the 1st at Bellarmine, 2/3 of an inning, didn't allow a run, walked 1 and struck out 1. So Nordman will come on and try to close this one out, and he faces 3, 4, 5, Thomason, King, and Ludwig for Eastern Kentucky. Lipscomb leading 6-4 as we head to the 9th inning. The Bison's trying to win this series here as they won last night 7-2. And Thomason's had a solid day. He had a home run back in the 1st inning. He walked in the 3rd, reached on an error and scored in the 5th, and reached on a walk in the 6th. Nordman, a hard-throwing right-hander. He'll run his fastball up in the mid-90s, 94, 95, and also come in with a slider. Pretty much a 2-pitch guy, and there's the slider in for a strike, 0-1. That slider is typically a mid-80s pitch to pair with that mid-90s fastball, and when he's around the zone, he's very tough on particularly these right-handed hitters. Thomason, King, and Ludwig scheduled for the Colonels. This fastball that'll miss outside, ball 1. Bisons have out-hit the Colonels 11-5 on the day. Each team has stranded 10 runners, so a lot of opportunities left out there by both teams today. 1 ball, 1 strike count to Logan Thomason. That's a slider that'll be in there for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the top of the 9th inning. Trey Nordman trying to give the Bisons a big series win here. Eastern Kentucky came in red hot, first place in the Western Division. They were 8-1 coming in, and this one would push Lipscomb over 500 in conference play if they can hold on. Here comes the 1-2 from Nordman. And he got him, strike 3. Froze him with a slider. And Thomason is punched out for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up Will King, the catcher. King has flied out twice, struck out, and been hit by a pitch on the day, so he is 0 for 3. 1 for 7 on the weekend is Will King, batting at .276. That's a slider that's going to miss down for ball 1. Outfield straightaway and deep, infield deep in fairly regular positions at this point, as you'd expect. Third baseman Will Hoyt down the line and deep, trying to take away any kind of extra base hit. That's a slider in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that pitch has really improved as we've seen Nordman throw through the course of the season. Somewhat erratic at the start of the season. It's really gotten a lot better. It's become a weapon. Again, when you can run that fastball in there and pair it with that slider, throwing that for a strike makes it very, very tough on these right-handed hitters. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Fastball misses away, 2-1. Ludwig waits on deck for the Colonels. Crowd is really into it here, trying to cheer the Bisons on to the big series win. Nice crowd on hand for Saturday. We're expecting even better weather tomorrow, so we invite you to come on out to the ballpark. Sliders hit high in the air to the right side. Ketchup is drifting over into foul territory. Now he's going to get called off by Maxwell, who will catch it in fair territory for the second out of the inning. Ketchup had a beat on that, but it was kind of being pushed away from him as the wind started to carry it, and Maxwell came over and called him off, and that's 2 big outs for Trey Nordman, and Eastern Kentucky is down to their last out, and that'll be Charles Ludwig. Ludwig has flown out to center field, singled and scored a run, and walked twice, so he's been on base 3 times today, 1 for 2 on the day, 241 on the season, and he is the last hope for Eastern Kentucky to extend this game, as Nordman would like to close the door right now. 7th pitcher of the day for the Bisons. It's been a staff day. Fastball is on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1. Nordman gets a little bit of arm side run with that fastball, and so that just caught the edge of the plate in a tough spot. Not much that Ludwig could do with that one. Here comes the 0-1. That's a fastball flung and fouled out of play, and now Eastern Kentucky down to their final strike. So no balls, 2 strikes. Base is empty with 2 outs in the top of the 9th, and Lipscomb leading 6-4, and trying to hold on for what would be a very big series win here for the Bisons. So Nordman ahead 0-2. Swung on and hit high in the air in the middle of the infield. Ketchup is ranging over straight behind the mound, and you can wrap this one in purple and gold. Lipscomb wins 6-4. Bisons are going to take this series as they win the second game 6-4 on a solid and gutsy performance throughout here. Trey Nordman comes in and does his job and gets the save for Lipscomb. So our final line score on the day is going to be 6 runs on 11 hits and 2 errors for Lipscomb, 4 runs, 5 hits, and no errors for Eastern Kentucky. And I believe the winning pitcher, the win will go to Noah Thompson. We'll try to get a beat on that for you. Trey Nordman will record his team leading 5th save on the season. Let's give you a brief recap of this one. Eastern Kentucky jumped out early. They got a single from Max Williams and a home run off the bat of Logan Thomason and went ahead 2-0 in the first. The Bisons fought back in the bottom of the second, a single from Trace Wilhoit and a triple from John Shields, and it was 2-1. Eastern Kentucky went back to work, picking up a single run in the 4th. There was a single from Ludwig. He advanced on a wild pitch, a couple of walks, and an RBI from a walk to Max Williams, and that pushed the lead to 3-1. Eastern stretched it out to 4-1 in the 5th inning as Thomason reached on an error. There was a hit by pitch and a walk, and another error that pushed across a run, and so that stretched their lead out at that point to 4-1. Bisons, however, fought back in the 6th inning. They had a hit by pitch to Mason Lundgren, a single from Malik Williams, and then a 3-run home run off the bat of Trace Wilhoit. That knotted things up at 4-4, and then the definitive runs were scored in the 7th inning by Lipscomb. They started out with a base hit off the bat of Ketchup. Maddox Houghton walked, was caught stealing. There was a walk to Mason Lundgren, and then an RBI single off the bat of Malik Williams, followed by a hit by pitch, a base on balls, and the Bisons had pushed across their 6th run of the day. Eastern Kentucky had nothing doing in the 8th inning as 3 Bisons pitchers shut them down with Tyler Legier, Hayden Frank, and Patrick Williams. And then Trey Nordman came in and closed it in the 9th, getting a strikeout and 2 fly pop-outs to seal the victory for the Bisons. So Noah Thompson will indeed get the win. He goes to 3-1 on the season. Trey Nordman gets his 5th save. The loss will go to Reese Brown. Tough luck loss. He pitched well. His record will go to 4-3 on the season. Our time of the game is right at 3 hours. And we'll remind you, fans, that the next action for Lipscomb Bison's baseball will be tomorrow, Sunday, April 10th, in a game that will be at 1 p.m. The Bisons will once again be taking on the Eastern Kentucky Colonels. That game will be telecast on ESPN+. So make sure you tune in for that telecast on ESPN Plus tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time. Our special thanks to Lipscomb Athletic Director Philip Hutchison, to Associate Athletic Director for External Relations Brent McMillan, Assistant Athletic Director for Communications Kirk Downs, and Assistant Director for Athletic Communications Hannah Jo Riley. I do want to thank our producer, Miss Erica Plunkett, for today. And on behalf of our entire crew, this is Doc Allen saying thanks for your time this time, and until next time, so long. You've been watching Lipscomb Bison's Baseball.